away from them, because speaking to somebody only recently about why this is happening at Manchester United, and it feels like there's a few of them out of possession when things aren't going so well, still have that tendency not to drive through it. So it's, as a manager, how do you get rid of that? How do you change it? What can you do in the summer? Obviously, yes, there's a big cup final ahead, which I think it's almost one of those that everybody's expecting them not to do anything in that I feel like they can go and obviously produce a performance. So I think there's still a building process to be had. I think there's obviously so many links with particular players that can come in and improve the squad. So it's going to be a real interesting, few weeks for Manchester United.
Well, let's hear from their manager, shall we? As we've just been saying, one more point needed to secure that place in the top four. Here's Erik ten Hag.
It tells a lot about this club, where we are, and of where we were. I think we stepped up, but it's still a long way to go. First, we have to win the game, and so get the job done, and then it's about the judgment from others. If it's a good performance or a bad performance or a normal performance. We are in a project. We want to go back and to win trophies. We win one trophy, but we want to win more trophies. We want to compete with the best, but we are still in a journey, and we are still in a journey. But we think we are in the right direction. But it can always be better, because good is not good enough.
How do you think the project is going, Michael Brown?
We were just looking at Deno there when he was saying, it feels like he's laughing at me like he wants to win more trophies. I mean, that's quite obviously obvious that they want to do that at Manchester United and himself, but I think that was an obvious question. He's making me giggle, he's laughing away, and I'm one of those kids in the corner that I can't control myself. But the project's gone well, hasn't it? He's been really tested throughout the season.
What are you doing to him?
I'm not doing anything to him, Ellie. I'm just the one who always gets blamed for everything.
No, they have been tested. He's had some really sort of big stumbling blocks. Obviously, the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, to come and get a trophy and get that sort of change in the mentality has been difficult, because at times the question marks were asked, what's going to happen at Manchester United? They spent a whole lot of money, we know that. Obviously, question marks. Obviously, when Casemiro came in, was he going to play him? Was he not? Why was he delaying in these situations? Then he's managed to find a squad, a much more settled one, obviously improved without the ball. I think that's been the biggest question mark of these players for quite some time. So, listen, the next few weeks are big, as we've said, but I'm really looking forward to, again, is a summer from what Manchester United can do to improve the squad, to challenge with Manchester City at the top, but they've got work to do.
Yeah, a quick question on improving the squad, Ian. There was a question about a reported interest in Neymar, and he said, when we have news, we will tell you. What are you hearing?
Well, a name straight away springs to mind that will shoot down any idea or notion that Neymar might be coming to Old Trafford, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo. So commercially it would make sense, but Erik ten Hag moved heaven and earth to get Cristiano Ronaldo out of Old Trafford because of what he believes in, and he won that battle. He won and showed who was in charge of the dressing room, but he also showed the hierarchy that if you do it, you're going to do it my way. So, whilst commercially it would make sense for a global superstar to come to Old Trafford and Manchester United in Neymar, I think it would go against everything that Erik ten Hag stands for.
Why is that, though, Deno? Can he not come in and do that job, Neymar?
Well, no, because it would all be about Neymar. And not about Manchester United.
Can it not work if you get the best out of him? Can you not say, well, we believe in something in his game? So what are we questioning there for him not to be able to do that? Because surely at Manchester United you want to sign world stars that are going to make you better, to actually help you in the Premier League.
Yeah, but if you were Manchester United and you had a chance of, say, Neymar, Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen at Napoli, somebody to actually improve the team would be either Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen, rather than a global superstar who might just upset the apple cart, would it not?
Well, I think that's where you're doubting. I look at that by the character of Neymar, or his all-round performance, what he'll bring day to day. Whether there's that big distraction is what you're saying, where a Harry Kane would do a similar return of goals maybe, but actually it's just, why is that? Is that because it's just the less carry that comes with Harry Kane? He stays under the radar a little bit more?
Possibly. I'd just be very surprised what has happened.
Is it out of possession? Do you know, as a team where you say, well, okay, for all that flair, does he not? That's what I'm looking at.
Like you say, I don't know Neymar to question his character, but after what has happened with Cristiano Ronaldo, I'd be surprised then if Manchester United pursued Neymar.
Well, look, let's talk about somebody who is going to have a big job to rebuild for next season, and that is Chelsea and Mauricio Pochettino, who is going to be taking charge eventually. But are you surprised, Ian, that he's not taken charge now to try and, you know, get ahead of the game, as it were, for next season?
Yes, to a degree, because I do think that it gives a manager an opportunity to come in, assess the players firsthand, and then all of a sudden you can work out who you want to wheedle out of the club, because there's going to have to be a lot of outgoings at Stamford Bridge during the summer. So I can see it from that point of view, and then I actually thought a little bit more about it, and then you don't want to be coming in as a manager, say for instance Frank Lampard, who I think probably thought, oh, I can do well for my CV here, you know, talented group of players, but they're not playing as a team, and all of a sudden now Frank Lampard's CV has been tainted a little bit when he's lost 7 of his 9 games. So Pochettino will want to come in and hit the ground running, and therefore if there is a malaise at Chelsea, or there are some players who are thinking, well, I'm not going to be part of their plans for this season, he might be better off actually waiting for the summer, doing it then, and then putting his stamp on things with the players who he has got at his disposal, who he can take forward, rather than a group of players where 3 or 4 of them might not be around come next season.
How can he make that judgment, though? Do you know, when he hasn't been and seen them firsthand? Because we've seen so many times, you know, they're different and fit in your system that you wouldn't have expected. So surely the last few weeks could have been beneficial for him to go and get a start on that with such a project. Normally you don't have that sort of problem, do you, with the out players? Just looking through the squad list, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, the players that they've got? It's just a shame. Or do you think, well, he's looking at the last few fixtures and you sort of go, oh, well, it's still even more difficult to actually go with the last 3 that they've got?
Yeah, he wouldn't want to be. He wants to be starting off on a positive, Ellie, rather than on a downward spiral, which is where Chelsea are at the moment.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed, Ian Dennis and Michael Brown are at Old Trafford. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock, and we'll have updates throughout the evening through 72+ and then Euroleagues. Elsewhere in football, the Everton midfielder Izzy Christiansen has announced she will retire at the end of the season. Christiansen won 31 England caps, scoring 6 goals, and you can hear from Izzy on Saturday, where she'll be joining Steve Crossman on 5 Live Sport from midday. And the England goalkeeper Sandy McIver has made herself unavailable for selection for this summer's World Cup after an injury ended her season early. Sarina Wiegman will name the England squad for this summer's tournament on Wednesday. And to get your Lionesses fix ahead of the World Cup, head over to Jill Scott's Coffee Club, where this week's guest is the Manchester City star Lauren Hemp. She spoke about her love of cricket and how she got into it.
My dad used to play cricket, and
right.
I feel like we were quite a sporty family. My sister used to play as well. She probably got me into football, and then my dad was sort of more cricket, and yeah, I used to go along to his games, and I don't know, it just sort of started from there really. And to be fair, up until I was about 16, it was then when I sort of had to decide between the two, because I was actually all right at cricket as well, because it used to be obviously like a summer sport, and then I play football in the winter, but obviously now football's like all year round, and cricket's pretty much the same as well. So yeah, when I was 16, I had to decide what I wanted to do, and I mean, obviously I think I picked the best option, but like, yeah, I used to play for county and that, and like I know a few of the girls now who play for England cricket as well, so we sort of keep in contact as well, which is nice.
Did you ever play cricket?
No, I didn't, but I'm just picturing like, and there's Lauren Hemp at wicket keeper. She's just like this. I think that would have been a wasted talent though, because you wouldn't get to see like any of his
quick, like.
Yeah, what
maybe
would you
bowling? Yeah, I was quite quick at bowling. Yeah.
So will you follow the Ashes this summer? Will you be one of those people that will have it on like in the background, sort of all through the day?
Yeah, I like it, to be fair, because you know some people don't like the long days of watching cricket.
And
I
love
stuff.
that.
I feel like it's great to just put on. You can go and do something, come back to it, and then yeah, it's great.
She's a woman of taste, Lauren Hemp. If she loves Test cricket, to get the full episode, head over to BBC Sounds and search for Jill Scott's Coffee Club. Well, let's stay with cricket. News today that England's World Cup winning opener Jason Roy is set to walk away from his contract with the ECB to play in this summer's inaugural Major League Cricket season in the United States. Our cricket reporter Kevin Howells is with us. Good evening, Kevin. How significant is this decision from Jason Roy?
Well, I think the first thing, Ellie, good evening, by the way, I think the first thing to note is that both the statements I'm reading here from the England-Wales Cricket Board, and Jason himself, who's also put out a statement. They're both very keen to make it clear that this doesn't impact on Jason Roy's availability for England. Now, this competition we're talking about, Major League Cricket in the US, actually is pretty much between the Blast and the 100 in terms of domestic white ball cricket, going on at the same time the Ashes. Well, Jason Roy's not involved in that. He's also not involved with Surrey's defence of the county championship either. So the timing, I think, is, you know, it probably suggests, I think, in isolation, it's not much different from other decisions to play franchise cricket, I think, if you look at it just in this particular case for Jason. But it certainly does firmly shine that spotlight, well and truly, on yet another competition which runs somewhere in the world at the same time as the English season. Now, that didn't used to happen. You know, England and Wales and their cricket professionally used to have pretty much exclusive rights, if you like, to playing at this time of the year. Everything else in the south, different time of the year, obviously. So this is something new. It's a big challenge, I think a major challenge, as to how to match the money being offered to the players. You know, in Jason Roy's case, instead of earning, it said, 60 to 70,000 pounds on this incremental contract, by the way, not a full contract with England, but Jason Roy, it's reckoned, can earn now 150,000 pounds for this first year of Major League Cricket in the US. And we hear an awful lot about players in county cricket being offered the same amount of money they get on a 12-month contract for just 3 weeks of playing in this competition. That's pretty attractive, isn't it, to any player, really? So I think the question, really, it's interesting about Jason Roy, but I think it just firmly just shines that spotlight again on how many players this is going to affect. We don't know at this stage, but it's certainly part of a major shake-up in the game, both domestically and internationally.
Kevin, thank you very much indeed. Incidentally, in the Blast tonight, Lancashire beating Leicestershire Foxes at Old Trafford. And you can listen on Sports Extra now to commentary of Middlesex against Surrey in the Blast. And tomorrow on Sports Extra, there will be ball-by-ball commentary of Gujarat Titans against Mumbai Indians in their IPL quarter-final. And coverage starts at 2:55. Big live game of Rugby League over on Sports Extra this evening. It's Hull against Wigan, and Matt Newsom is at Craven Park.
Yes, third against second, and given that this was a round one game where Wigan had all the hype, Hull KR were expected to, well, nobody quite knew what to expect from Willie Peters' side with a new head coach, but they have been explosive in their start to the campaign. They have matched Wigan in terms of their records. They've scored more points than the Warriors, although they have a slightly more porous defence. So this game is as tight as it gets. You've got a really strong Hull KR team that have, other than just won that one little defeat of late in the game against Warrington, have looked at a champion side against a Wigan team who got back on the horse against Leeds in the Challenge Cup. Both teams will fancy themselves here tonight, and it's as a closer game as you can imagine in Super League.
Thank you, Matt. Coverage on Sports Extra from 7:45 tonight. Now, the draw's been made today for the French Open, which gets underway on Sunday. Just 3 British men and no British women will take part. And that's something I've been talking about with our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller, who is in Paris. First, though, he gave me the main headlines from the draw.
I think from an international perspective, a lot of interest in where some of the favourites would fall in the draw. And if we start with the men, we now know that Carlos Alcaraz, who's the world number 1, and Novak Djokovic, who's the 22-time Grand Slam champion, are in the same half of the draw. So if they do progress, they will meet in the semi-finals rather than the final. That may potentially be good news for people like Daniil Medvedev, who's won more titles than anyone else this season. 5 titles so far, as he's in the other half of the draw. But there are a lot of men this year, especially in the absence of Rafael Nadal, who will think that they can win this title. So it's difficult to look too far ahead. And I think similarly, from an international perspective on the women's side, you have 3 players really who've dominated the year so far. Aryna Sabalenka, the Australian Open champion, who finds herself in the other half of the draw to the world number 1 Iga Swiatek and the Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina.
As you mentioned, no Rafa Nadal, but Novak Djokovic is there, and this could be his chance to break the record, to win a 23rd Grand Slam singles title. So who could stop him?
That is very much the target, isn't it? He's not been in the best of form, though, recently. He's had problems with an elbow injury, and if you look at the matches he's played on the clay before Roland Garros, then it's not particularly encouraging. He has won 1 and then lost one at the 3 clay court tournaments he's played. But we know that the Grand Slams are a completely different experience. And if that elbow is improved and he can play his way back into form in the first week, then given his history and everything he's achieved, he's going to be the man to beat. But if it's not going to be Djokovic or Carlos Alcaraz, then I genuinely think that actually anybody in the top 8 in the world on the men's side can win. There is Daniil Medvedev. There's Andrei Rublev, who won in Monte Carlo. There's Casper Ruud, in theory, not playing particularly well, but he was a finalist last year. Holger Rune, Yannick Sinner, they go to win Grand Slams one day, surely. Could this be their year? And also Stefanos Tsitsipas, who's been in the final here once before.
It's pretty thin on the ground when it comes to British interest at Roland Garros this year, but Cameron Norrie's got an interesting first-round match.
He has. He will play the man he played in the first round of the US Open at the end of August last year. That is Benoit Paire, who is wonderfully talented. He has a mercurial temperament. He's at 149 in the world now. He has battled depression in recent years, and at times on court his short fuse has got the better of him. And when they met in New York, sets 1 and 3, which Norrie won 6-love, lasted 18 and 19 minutes respectively. So there are times where Benoit Paire completely disappears in a match. Dan Evans will play Thanasi Kokkinakis. The last time many of you will have been watching or listening to him was when he played Andy Murray at the Australian Open, Kokkinakis, in that match that finished at 4 in the morning. And the only other British player in the singles, Jack Draper, up against Thomas Echeverry of Argentina.
And no British women at all in the singles this year. It's been a long time since that's happened, and it's pretty disappointing.
First time since the US Open of 2009 that we haven't had a British woman in the singles draw at a Grand Slam. If you look at the rankings, it's not altogether surprising. Emma Raducanu is our number 1. She's going to be out for a fair few months. She's 107 in the world. Jodie Burrage has done really well to rise to 111. She's the British number 2, but she's also injured, so she missed qualifying. And after that, the players who'll be most disappointed are Katie Boulter and Harriet Dart, among those who've lost in the second round of qualifying yesterday, because they've both been in the top 100. They know how to qualify for Grand Slams. For those two to lose and others also to fall even before the final round of qualifying is very, very disappointing. But it is a fairly accurate reflection of where British women's tennis is at the moment.
Well, that was Russell Fuller there out in Paris, and the first round starts this Sunday, and you can listen to commentary from Roland Garros on 5 Sports Extra from Monday. Huge night of boxing in the UK on Saturday evening with 3 world title fights in 3 different cities, Manchester, Bournemouth and Belfast. Steve Bunce joins us now. Steve, you've written a piece on the BBC Sport website in which you describe this as a disaster for boxing.
Yeah, which is ridiculous because it's also one of the greatest nights for boxing. But then that's boxing, Ellie. You know that. If there's not a contradiction, what are we doing talking about it? Let me explain why it's a disaster. Because you've got 3 massive world title fights. They're all going to be sellouts, and they could comfortably take place in any weekend. And I put it to you that if you had 3 fights like that in a 6-month period, you'd be delighted. OK, that's why it's a disaster, because they're all on one night. And why it's good is because, well, you've got 3 world title fights like that on one particular... Imagine in a 2-hour period, this is all going to go down. It's completely ridiculous. So, of course, it's a disaster, but of course it's good. It's contradictory sport of boxing, Ellie. You know that.
It is. It's the beautiful game and it's the ugly game at the same time. But it's weird. Truth. Now, I'm sure you would like to have a bit of you in Belfast and a bit of you in Bournemouth, but you're actually going to be in Manchester, aren't you? And you've been speaking to Lee Wood today, trying to get his belt back off Maurizio Lara.
Yeah, no, Lee, they fought in March. In fact, when the first bell sounds on Saturday, it'll be 98 days from when he lost his world title to Maurizio Lara, who's a very dangerous Mexican, which sounds like a sort of contradiction in terms. Sorry, which sounds like a cliche, which it is. It is. And what happened in that fight? It was a sensational fight, unbelievable atmosphere in Nottingham. And Lee was, I thought, clearly in front, got caught with a shot, managed to get up. It was waved off by the corner. He protested. He called Eddie Hearn, the promoter, that night and said, I want the rematch. And he's got it. 98 days on. It will be close to a sellout in Manchester. It's a brave and bold move to go straight into a rematch with a man who's knocked you out. That is bold.
And the big clash on the beach in Bournemouth, Lawrence Okoli against Chris Billam-Smith. How do you call that one?
Well, I'll tell you how you call that one. They've sparred over 300 rounds together. They lived together. They were part of the same training stable. So Chris Billup-Smith, who's the challenger to Lawrence Okolie, who's unbeaten, an Olympian for 2016, Chris Billup-Smith must know something. Otherwise, it's got to be straightforward Okolie win. However, Billup-Smith really fancied it. But the really annoying thing about that is a friend of mine sent me a picture taken last night on the beach in Bournemouth at 10 o'clock. And it was like the middle of the night. It was like the middle of the day. It was lovely. It was a lovely sky. It was barely dark. I'm envious. It's a heat wave down in Bournemouth. That's where I'd like to be. I want to be in Belfast. I'd love to be in Manchester. You know what I might do? I might just go. I might lock myself indoors and not watch any of them.
In Belfast, then, just to wrap it up, Michael Conlon against Luis Alberto Lopez.
There were hometown heroes, and then there were Belfast town heroes, and that's what Conlon is. Lopez is the champion. That's the one I fancy. That's the one I'm bravest about picking. I fancy Conlon wins, and that will be some night in Belfast. It really will.
Bunsey, brilliant as always. We'll have commentary on that Lara Wood rematch on 5 Live from 10 p.m. on Saturday. Let's wrap up this section by talking about the Giro d'Italia, because Wales's Geraint Thomas has moved another step closer to glory in Rome after extending his lead at today's stage 19. Our reporter Tom Brown is in Italy. Tom, how significant was today's result?
Ellie, I think Geraint would have taken any result that saw him keep that leader's pink jersey. So to not only maintain his advantage, but also extend it as he did today, I think he'll class that as a very good day in the office. It was a tough day as well here in the Italian Dolomites. The race put on a real test with loads and loads of brutal climbs. But once again, his rivals tried to put some distance between them and Thomas. But once again, Thomas was right on their wheel. And I think it's significant that on Tuesday, he dropped Primož Roglic, one of his main rivals, and today João Almeida felt further back. So now he's in a situation, Geraint Thomas, where he's got a 29-second advantage with just 2 key stages to go and then the finale in Rome on Sunday. And it was an extra special day today, as it's actually Geraint Thomas's birthday. 37 today. I asked him what his celebrations will be. He did joke that he'd have the beers out and a late night before admitting it'll actually be a bowl of rice, maybe some cake and an early night, because there's still plenty of work to be done out here.
Absolutely. Tom, thank you very much indeed. Tom Brown, who's in Italy for the Giro d'Italia. It is 7:31 on this Thursday evening. Coming up on 5 Live Sport, it's 72 Plus with Aaron Paul from 8 o'clock, and then from 9, Steve Crossman will be here with Euroleagues. But now it's time for 5 Live Formula One.
5 Live Formula One.
Yes, Formula One returns after an unexpected week off. The Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola was called off due to severe flooding last week, and now we head to Monaco for the jewel in the crown of the F1 season. Can anyone stop Max Verstappen? Will Mercedes' upgrade work? And where does Lewis Hamilton's future lie? We'll discuss all of this and more across the next half an hour on 5 Live Formula One. I'm Eleanor Oldroyd, and I'm joined by 5 Live F1 commentator Jack Nicholls, former F1 driver Jolyon Palmer, and pit lane reporter Rosanna Tennant. Hello all, I should say, first of all, that I'm very excited to be in the studio face-to-face with Jack Nicholls. When you're
not many people say that.
When you're normally talking from somewhere very glamorous, but we are here in the studio together. But Rosanna, you are actually there, aren't you? You're in the paddock. Paint us a picture.
I am. I'd love to be in the studio with you as well, but someone's got to do Jack's dirty work. So I am here in Monaco, and what a day it has been. It started off with some rain, which got everybody quite excited about the race weekend to come. We've got the chance of rain across the weekend, I think. But it's been a beautiful afternoon, sun blazing, the boats glistening in the harbour, and everybody just starting to get really excited to go racing because, of course, as you say, we've had a little bit of a bigger hiatus than we were expecting since the last race in Miami, so we can't wait to get going again.
It's one of the iconic race weekends in F1, isn't it, Jack? So what makes it so special?
I think it is just unique. I think if you now, in 2023, said, right, we want to put on a race, instead of Vegas, we want to put on this race in Monaco, it's on these tight, twisty streets, and you can barely overtake, and you can barely get any cars past each other, and it's just insanity, the circuit. You'd never get it signed off. But because the idea was in 1929 from Anthony Noakes and the world was a different place back then, it started. And, you know, we've had almost 100 years now of the Monaco Grand Prix, and I just love it. There's difficulties with it. There are arguments about, is it actually a great race? Is it really that entertaining? And all of those kind of things. But I think just in terms of the history of the place, I think it's phenomenal.
Do you get a sense, Johnny, when you drive that circuit, that it is more about the occasion than the race itself? I mean, what's it like as a driver?
I think the occasion is enormous. I mean, it's a standalone weekend. It really is something else. As Jack said, it's bonkers to be driving around the narrow walls. It's really undulating. It's so tight. It is absolute madness to be driving around there in a Formula One car, and it would never happen now. If the new circuit was trying to get a green light and try and replicate Monaco, it would be laughed out of town. But that's why it's so cool. The history, the tradition means that we stay there. We're still on the calendar. And yeah, overtaking is tough, but it's still, I think it's still the race that you want to win. The #1 race to win is the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, I remember interviewing Sir Stirling Moss, the late Sir Stirling Moss, a few years ago, where he was talking about actually pulling up during practice and handing his number or the number of his hotel to a pretty girl that he'd seen down by Casino or somewhere like that. And that's the kind of the image that I get in my head, Jack, about the race itself and the celebrity factor. And Rosanna can tell us about the celeb spotting that she's been doing. It might be a bit early, actually, on Thursday to spot the celebs.
Not too many.
They haven't helicoptered in or brought the yachts in yet. But is that what it is? It's the history, it's that kind of sense of Formula One as it was.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I very much, and I think Palmer's similar, I'm very much a Monaco apologist, right? In that I think, you have new fans coming in now, and even old fans, to be honest, who think it's a complete waste of time, the Monaco Grand Prix. It's a ridiculous procession. And yeah, it's a waste of time. But my counter to that, and Jolyon's better placed for this, but my counter to that is the Saturday of Monaco, the qualifying day where you're on the track by yourself going 110%, is one of the greatest spectacles in motorsport for my money. And even I remember a couple of years ago, we sent Jolyon down to stand by the track, and he's obviously driven the track and raced the track, but standing by the track, he loved it, Didn't you?
It was cool. It was really cool, yeah. But when you're driving, you don't get the chance to watch firsthand, You're either in the cockpit or you're in the garage or something. So going trackside in Monaco, I think it was amazing how narrow the walls are from the outside. The speeds that you're doing. When you're in the car, you're so absorbed in the moment that you don't really think of anything else apart from the next corner, the braking point, your gear shifts and everything. When you're trackside and you're watching it, it was just mind-blowing. Even to me, having raced it, you think, wow, this is the pinnacle of Formula One here, is driving around Monaco. So yeah, I'm with Jack. I think it should stay on the calendar. And even as difficult as it is to overtake, you've still got to put everything together to win in Monaco. It is not easy. Qualifying is the most dramatic qualifying of the year. You always get incident. It is cars absolutely on the ragged edge, hustling around 19 corners with the barriers around everywhere, and you'll always get crashes, you'll always get moments, and the heroes will be at the front of the grid. But even then, we've seen the last couple of years, there's no guarantee that you can win it. Okay, overtaking is pretty hard on track, but you've got to get the strategy right, you've got to have reliability, and you've got to not do something clumsy from the cockpit as well. So there's more to it than I think a lot of maybe the newer fans would see. And yeah, it's a cracking occasion.
Rosanna, so who are you expecting to see arriving over the next few days? Presumably the drivers just kind of wandering around and, picking up their laundry and going to the supermarket, aren't they? Because it's where half of them live.
Absolutely. It's a home race for so many of them. It's a short commute. They can sleep in their own beds, which I think changes the weekend somewhat for them. They were being asked earlier if it was therefore a more relaxing weekend. I don't think it is. And I think because of all the reasons Jolyon's just listed, it's still super intense. So nice to wake up in your own bed, but you're taking on streets that you normally drive in a road car, in a Formula One car. So it's altogether different. And yet you're right. The Formula One drivers sort of blend in because there are so many celebrities across the weekend, and it's just a who's who, really, the guest list. Stars from the music world, the acting world, the sports world as well. I think everybody, if they're offered the chance to come, they take that invitation and they get themselves here. Not on the Thursday.
Yeah, I think some saying maybe, you know, firstly for his mental health, whatever you think about what Simon has to say, you know, it's his job. He's going to be away from his workplace, going to be away from his friends and his support group generally. But I think the argument is there. You know, we haven't seen the written reasons as to why his ban is what it is. 4 months completely away from football, 8 months without playing a game. But if it is found that Ivan Toney was sharing privileged information, then obviously you can understand why he would be completely banned from any football activity. Obviously we don't know that is the case as yet.
But he's injured at the moment, and it will be interesting to know if he's allowed to recuperate at the club and do his rehabilitation following that injury. And we need to know the written reasons, because it's a point that has been made in various quarters, and I think it's right that, you know, people have been found guilty of racism and their punishments have been far less severe than this. Now, they are two completely different things, I know, and you have to have some sort of punishment for doing what he's done, but we really need to know the reasons, and if information has been passed on, then that is a reason for the length of the ban. But personally, I don't see a reason why he can't train at the club from now. Don't play, fair enough, but what purpose does it serve him spending 4 months away from the club completely? I don't really see the point of that.
Gareth Southgate says it isn't going to affect whether he's included or not for the Euro 2024 squad next summer, but you have to believe it will. You know, he's not going to play a game until January.
No, he'd have to come back and be as quickly as possible back to where he's just left. I think Gareth picked him in the last squad for a reason as well, to show that sort of solidarity with him, that he believes in him and he wants him as part of his long-term plans, because he knew that something was definitely on the horizon in terms of a ban. So I think he sort of said that in terms of picking him. Look, Ivan's got to just make sure he gets his head around the fact that this is it and make the most of what is this time off. I think that Gareth was alluding to that, and come back a stronger person, a stronger player, and I'm sure he will.
Raheem Sterling of Chelsea isn't involved today. He's missing out on the England squad by mutual decision. That's after talks with Gareth Southgate. Sterling feeling he wasn't in the right physical condition, and obviously he's not involved with his club tonight, so he could easily be injured. But Sterling usually shows up for his country. I mean, he always has. He's got 82 caps no matter how he's playing. You maybe get the feeling that Gareth Southgate was going to leave him out, and this is only speculation, of course, and that, of course, by saying, you know, he's not in the right condition and that we've spoken to it, it kind of makes it easier in terms of the press and the pressure that would come onto Raheem Sterling to perform in the coming months by leaving him out, if you like, under mutual consent. Because it does, I have to say, it does seem odd. It's unusual.
Well, he's only scored twice since New Year's Day, those 2 goals recently against Forest, and I think his form has suffered because basically he's been playing for Chelsea this season, and we've spoken about the reasons for that. But I think that Sterling, maybe it is a good time for him to get away, get himself 100% fit, focus, and also come back and find out what sort of role Pochettino wants for him, because who knows, we don't know what Mauricio Pochettino has in store for this squad, and that's got to be an issue.
I think he's been one of their better players, Chelsea, when he has played. He's had a couple of injury issues which can always affect a player, and look, there's not many players that can go throughout their career at the absolute peak, right at the top level, year on year, season in, season out. He might just be having one of these moments with a new club that aren't playing very well, where he's not quite at the levels that he's produced, certainly at Manchester City. I think he'll be back. I think that it might do him good as well, just to have that little bit of time away, a bit more hunger back inside him, and we'll see him back again.
Just to say, Harry Maguire is in that squad. He's on the bench for Manchester United this evening. We'll have both of England's summer qualifiers live on TalkSport and plenty more before that. Remember, this weekend, 6 live commentaries from the final day of the Premier League season, 4 of them on the TalkSport app. Extended coverage of the final day of the WSL season, 3 EFL playoff finals exclusive to national radio, and of course, in the coming weeks, the finals of the Champions League, Europa League and Europa Conference League as well. So plenty of live football ahead, including here at Old Trafford tonight. Manchester United against Chelsea kicks off next. You're listening to Kickoff on TalkSport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In May, we've got a white painted Velux GGL MK06 centre pivot roof window for £295 ex VAT. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Rodri to De Bruyne, flicked onto Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
For all the top Premier League analysis, listen to The Game, the Premier Football podcast from The Times. Every Monday and Thursday, join Hugh Woosencroft and a host of big-name guests for in-depth reaction and opinion on the latest action and the biggest issues in the world of football.
It's a massive goal!
Hear previews of all the upcoming matches and provocative and compelling opinions from some of the finest football writers from The Times and The Sunday Times.
Lovely bit of football!
Listen to The Game on the free Times Radio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast, so make time for you time with Just Eat. For early times, lunch times, late times, strange times. The perfect times for the McDonald's Sausage and Egg McMuffin, Five Guys Cheeseburger and Strawberry Shake, Domino's Pepperoni Passion, plus more from Costa Coffee, Creams Cafe and Pizza Express. So order now.
A winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Results! Enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel pub and grill fan zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in! Conditions apply. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
This football season, get a hand from Betfair's popular Bet Builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip in just one tap. Spend less time finger faffing and place your bet the easy way. Now that's handy, because we're Betfair.
Exclusive to Betfair Sportsbook. Terms and conditions apply. Please see frequently asked questions on support.betfair.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Car Finance 24/7. Sort your finance first, so you can choose a car with confidence. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender. Get all the goals on your radio. Game day kickoff on TalkSport.
Manchester United still have work to take care of to ensure they will be in the Champions League next season.
Manchester United, we need to be there in the Champions League. We want to be there because we want to challenge with the best teams in the world. So we do everything what's in our power to get that done.
Comes out to Fernandes, edge of the box, right-footed, volleys the ball under the goalkeeper. 3-0 to Manchester United.
Manchester United have got a confidence and a swagger about them.
In the Premier League, you have to qualify yourself to be under the first four, and that's not easy.
Chelsea are as poor defensively this season as bad as I've seen them in years.
My experience of football is that if you switch it off, it's not easy to switch it on.
Right in, and Sterling has an air shot, then takes it on and scores! And Chelsea have the goal!
If people think we haven't got much on the game, then the players have to show them that there is.
This is Kickoff on TalkSport, live from Old Trafford, where Manchester United stand right on the verge of Champions League qualification. 1 point will be enough, and you wouldn't have bet against them doing it tonight against the worst Chelsea side that we have seen in decades, frankly. We're going to be underway at 8 p.m. The fans beginning to make their way off the concourse and into their seats. Away to our left-hand side, a couple of banners just unfurled. Glazer's out, full sail only. These fans want a new leadership, a new direction at Manchester United, and they want the Glazers out as soon as possible. The sale of the club taking some time, and we aren't really sure who will be the new owner of Manchester United and when that will be. What we do know is Erik ten Hag is the man in charge, and his team are getting closer to one of their goals from the start of the season. Dean Ashton and Nigel Adderley, who are alongside me. United overwhelming favourites now to finish in the top four. They lifted the Carabao Cup. Stiff task in the FA Cup final against Manchester City. But after finishing 6th last season and not getting past the 4th round in either cup, you have to rate Ten Hag's first season highly, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, I think in terms of where they were and now where they're at, I think he's made a huge improvement. I look at some of the players that have been at the club a while. I think he's improved them. I think that's a big thing when you want a manager to come in. He's giving young players an opportunity. I think that's important as well for this football club. I think he's improved them defensively. He's got them into 2 finals, won one of them already. Back into the Champions League if they get a favourable result tonight. I'm not quite sure how quick people expected him to get close to what they want. Of course they want them, Manchester United to challenge for the title, but they're a little way off from that. But I've seen huge improvements in many aspects since Ten Hag has taken charge.
I think the main thing is he is not saying United are back. He's not said we've won the League Cup, so we are where we need to be. He's already said this week that it's an improvement, but they're nowhere near where they need to be. And that, if you're a United fan, it's a very good sign, because clearly it's a work in progress. He found it easier at Ajax because it was a shallower pool of talent to basically get them winning again very quickly. It may take another couple of years to get them right at the very top, but if they're in the Champions League and competing at the business end of cup competitions, then it becomes a good deal easier for him to go into the dressing room and into the hierarchy and get what he needs.
These fans, though, are aware just how important this summer will be. You can tell by those big banners unfurled that they want that change of ownership, and they want it now. Does the uncertainty over the new owners risk setting United back, despite the improvements they've made this season?
It can do if they don't get the right recruitment, and recruitment is going to be absolutely vital for Ten Hag to be able to churn over some of this squad to get it where he wants it to be. He knows he's got to add a certain type of player that he wants, that this club's been lacking, I think, for quite a few years now. He recognises it, and he wants to bring those type of players in and get the ones that he maybe doesn't feel are right out. And for that you need the backing, and the right backing and the right personnel behind Ten Hag for it to work. Whoever the ownership is at the start of next season or in the summer, it's so important they align with what the manager wants and give him the best support they can, because he's already shown what he can do in a very short space of time, I feel.
Going to be big changes at Chelsea, of course. They've already had the ownership change last year. Todd Boehly is going to reduce the amount of time that he spends at Chelsea, which I'm sure is great news for all of their fans. You've got to read a great dissection of the new Chelsea owners and how they learnt the hard way from Tom Roddy in the Times at the moment, because in that article he points to a team of experts now at the club: sporting directors Lawrence Stewart, Paul Winstanley, technical director Christopher Vivell, highly rated talent spotter Joe Shields, Chris Jurasek's imminent arrival as chief executive. Those are all big positives for Chelsea and an important evolution coming. And if they are the right people, if they do get things right, do you feel that Chelsea can turn things around drastically soon?
It took Pochettino one season at Tottenham to basically acclimatise, and then he got them shooting for the top 4 from a fairly low base. I think he'll inherit something similar here with possibly better players. So you can have all those people in the background, but if you have an owner who still believes he knows best, then that's always going to be a problem. Maybe he's learnt from these 2 transfer windows. They didn't need to spend £600 million. You could argue they spent that amount of money and they're no further on. If anything, they've gone backwards compared to where they were when he arrived. So I think harsh lessons have to be learned, and basically he's a money man. He's not necessarily a football man, and there is a big difference.
Hopefully he's learned, but he did have to learn the hard way. Might be a very difficult night for his Chelsea side tonight, because the onus will be on Manchester United to carry the fight, to take the initiative, needing just a point to guarantee Champions League football as the teams make their way out onto the pitch here. Dean Ashton, what do you expect to see from both sides in this first half?
I mean, I would expect Manchester United to try and set a tempo and a quality in their play that can get themselves ahead. And then you say and ask the questions to these Chelsea players, from what we've seen over recent weeks, you don't fancy it. I think that's the question that they've got to ask the Chelsea players. Do you really want this evening? Do you want just a nice day out at Old Trafford to experience it, or do you actually want to put in the hard graft, the determination, the togetherness to get a result here? Because that's what it's going to take. And if you're Manchester United, you want to try and break that resolve as early as possible.
Cesar Azpilicueta leads out Chelsea with pride. Might be his penultimate game in a Chelsea shirt, but he has been there, done it and won it all. Some of those Chelsea youngsters have a long, long way to go if they're to emulate some of the success that the club has seen in the past 2 decades. Manchester United's players feel like it's getting ever closer to glory days being back once again. Before we get to kick-off, let me remind you, plenty of live football coming on TalkSport. We'll have the Championship playoff final, Coventry against Luton on Saturday afternoon, exclusively live on TalkSport. TalkSport 2 on Sunday for Carlisle against Stockport in the League 2 playoff final at Wembley. We'll of course have the final day of the Premier League season covered too. Leicester against West Ham in the Premier League exclusively on TalkSport. Leeds against Spurs exclusively on TalkSport 2, plus 4 more games on the app. And then on Monday, Barnsley against Sheffield Wednesday in the League 1 playoff final. Some boxing thrown into there on Saturday night. Exclusive radio commentary of Lawrence Okoli versus Chris Billam-Smith for the WBO World Cruiserweight title, live from Bournemouth's Vitality Stadium. We'll wonder tonight if Manchester United will land the knockout blow that they need in their bid to reach the Champions League. A season's brought a sense of purpose, returned hope, seen this great club get its hands back on silverware. But they shouldn't just be in European football's greatest competition, they should be aiming to win it. The first step along that path could be achieved tonight. A draw will be enough. It's Manchester United against Chelsea, live and exclusive to national radio right here on TalkSport, with former West Ham and England striker Dean Ashton and Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Hugh. Good evening once again. For a club of United stature, Champions League football is a minimum requirement, and if they don't lock down 4th place here tonight, it would be a big surprise, as Chelsea have been dismal this season, and it's been so long since they won here. United have just won the title. It has been some time. A reminder of the 2 teams here for this evening, the same United side which won at Bournemouth. De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Lindelof and Shaw the back 4, Casemiro and Eriksen at the base of midfield, Antony, Bruno Fernandes and Sancho behind Anthony Martial. 3 changes for Chelsea, which makes them the youngest ever starting lineup they've had in the Premier League era. 19-year-old Carney Chukwuemeka, 21-year-old Noni Madueke and 22-year-old Mikhailo Mudryk come into the team. 8 of the side are aged 23 or under. Thiago Silva, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and the injured Raheem Sterling drop out. It is Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Fofana, Chalobah and Hall the back 4, Fernandes, Gallagher and Chukwuemeka in midfield, Madueke and Mudryk either side of Havertz in attack. Perfect evening here at Old Trafford, pleasantly warm, the sun just setting behind the Stretford end away to our left-hand side. Many of the crowd in shirt sleeve order, and we've not had that on too many evening kickoffs in the remainder of the season. As Chelsea get the game underway, 1 more point and Manchester United will be in the Champions League. Chelsea, of course, will finish in the bottom half of the table for the first time since 1996. Can they get a crumb of comfort here at Old Trafford? Well, Chelsea give the ball away in the opening seconds. It's then cleared long downfield by Chalobah and it's gathered on the far side by Shaw, and United will try and build with Lindelof at the heart of their defence. Wide to Varane, who's got room to bring it forward on this near side. Wan-Bissaka is also forward, plays a 1-2 with Anthony. Good covering challenge though from Mudryk, and now Havertz plays it back to Hall, and Hall will go all the way back towards Chalobah again. Kepa given a bit of a teaser as a back pass from the central defender, but he manages to clear downfield. Mudryk again winning the ball in the air on this near side, but United have it back. Bruno Fernandes tries to find Anthony. It's all very frenetic. Casemiro wins it back. Now Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the penalty area. Gallagher comes back to make the challenge, but now an opportunity for Sancho inside the area, and eventually it's guarded behind by Azpilicueta at the expense of the game's first corner.
Superb tempo from Manchester United. Every single time Chelsea went to play out, there was a red shirt right there with pressure on. Casemiro with a brilliant challenge, just read it perfectly from Gallagher that set the attack away.
First corner of the game on the far side, an in-swinger cleared away at the near post by Mudryk. Now Bruno Fernandes slices the ball across the face of the field. Anthony with the cross in, which is headed away by Hall. Now Shaw again, wide on the far side, has support from Sancho. Shaw on the overlap, but the cross-in is blocked by Chalobah, and it's scrambled away by Azpilicueta on the far side, who is very much the old man of the Chelsea team tonight at the age of 33. A cross into the penalty area from the far side is gathered by Hall. He brings the ball down on his chest, plays it long downfield. Now there's a slip by Lindelof, and Havertz has it for Chelsea, has support from Gallagher down the centre, but he just drifts offside, so it's back to Chukwuemeka, and now wide towards the far side, and Fofana down the Chelsea right. Chukwuemeka swings in the shot, and it wasn't too far over the top.
No, it's a good break, because it was a bad mistake from Lindelof, just slipping when he was there to head it, just allowed Chelsea, and they flooded forwards. 5 blue shirts on top of the 4 Manchester United players. It was whipped back to Chukwuemeka, who tried to then arc that in over the top of David De Gea into the far corner, probably a foot over the top.
2.5 minutes played on Talk Sport at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. On the night when United just need a draw to finish in the top 4, and the previous 5 meetings between these two sides in the Premier League have all been drawn. It was 1-1 at Stamford Bridge back in October when Casemiro scored a 94th minute equaliser for United after Chelsea got ahead very late in that game. But United at home this season have been really good in all competitions. 25 wins, 4 draws and only 2 defeats. Manchester City, the only club with more wins at home across the top 5 leagues in Europe this season. Now Mudryk plays it forward towards Gallagher, stab wide to Hall, and Hall can now break into the penalty area. Early ball back in, looking for Mudryk, and what a chance for Chelsea. Mikhailo Mudryk 8 yards out on his own, and he misses his kick completely.
And that just sums Chelsea up. They're so wasteful in front of goal. It was a brilliant break, brilliant flick round the corner from Gallagher. Lewis Hall was away, picked out the right pass from Mudryk in the middle of the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka missed it, it was there. It's the simplest of side foots that's needed, and he just lets it come across his body, right across his foot, glances away. Pathetic effort from Mudryk. Top-class player, woeful finish.
Well, he is a player who has lacked confidence seemingly from the moment he arrived. Of course, for a long time it seemed as though he was signing for Arsenal, then Chelsea made one of those characteristic 11th hour bids in the January transfer window, up the money. Shakhtar Donetsk said yes, and since then his career's really stalled. Down Martial on the edge of the penalty area, in behind Fofana for a second, but his first touch just allows Chalobah to hammer the ball away. 4.5 minutes played here. It is 0-0, and it's absolutely breathless.
It is, and Chelsea are playing a very, very high line. I mean, with Fofana and Chalobah, I guess they've got that extra bit of pace as the centre-back pairing, but they've played very, very high, and it's meant that Manchester United, if they get the runs right, as Martial did, but they're not the touch, then they're in.
And this the final Premier League game before the final day of the season on Sunday. And the TalkSport network is the only place to hear the conclusion of the Premier League season and the 3 playoff finals on Saturday. 4:45 kickoff for Luton against Coventry for a place in the Premier League with Adrian Durham, Sam Matterface, Dean and Ian Holloway. There's a free kick for United. It's been awarded on the far side by Stuart Atwell, the referee. High in, looking for Casemiro! And Casemiro rises to head the opening goal. And it's the Brazilian who strikes yet again. His purple patch in front of goal continues. And that one could be enough to ease United into the Champions League.
Well, he's a threat, isn't he, Casemiro? And he has been since he's joined Manchester United. But it's about the delivery. If you get the delivery right, where it tempts the goalkeeper to come out, but he's not quite sure. If as a defender, you're not quite sure whether to go for the header because you're facing your own goal, then that's when it can be dangerous. Eriksen's ball in was absolutely brilliant. Glancing header from Casemiro, hardly any pressure on, he just gives Havertz a nudge, and of course he just falls away. And he just nods it over the top of a small-looking 𝓳𝓸𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰 for a brilliant finish in his second goal in 2 games. Manchester United have been the worst team in the Premier League from set plays, only scoring 4, and Chelsea have conceded 1 to them.
Well, it was more shoulder than head from Casemiro in the end, but it was enough to guide the ball, and there is a VAR check. They're just having a look at this. Now, is there an offside call against Casemiro? His arm was outstretched in the centre of the penalty area, and was he just in behind Havertz?
I think it's just going to be the shoulder or the knee of Casemiro, and then I think it's 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰, who's the other player.
Well, Michael Salisbury is the VAR official here, and they're taking a long look at this. Rewinding and just spooling around the area, and is it Casemiro just leaning in behind either 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰 or Havertz?
Well, I think we've all seen by now how
the goal's been given. He's onside. Lindelof was actually offside, but of course he wasn't involved in the final phase of play, so Casemiro can eventually celebrate his goal, and Manchester United lead by 1-0. And defensively, that was absolutely awful from Chelsea.
Well, there wasn't really any pressure. Like I said, Havertz was just nudged out of the way. No one was picking up Casemiro. They just ambled back into the area with no real intensity or organisation, and that's just not good enough at this level.
And United, 19 wins, 2 draws and only 1 defeat previously this season, when they've scored the opening goal in the Premier League. And as it stands, they will move above Newcastle into 3rd place on 72 points if they win this game. And of course Liverpool will be in the Europa League. Now Sancho coming forward again, and he almost found Bruno Fernandes down the centre, but the ball just evades his grasp at the last minute, and Chelsea here are a defensive shambles.
I mean, there's no shape. I mean, look, Chalobah and 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰, it's arguably first time they played together as a 2. Azpilicueta's high, Lewis Hall's high, there's not that protection, and they're exposed at the moment.
High ball played forward again from Chelsea. It's won by Mudryk on this near side. Bobson weaves away from the challenge of Casemiro, but the Brazilian comes back to bite him with a challenge, and now Fernandes with the back heel to try and release Eriksen, but it's won back by Chukwuemeka, and 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰 will come forward now for Chelsea. Good ball into the penalty area for Havertz, all on his own, but it was square towards Gallagher, but Gallagher, maybe not aware of what was around him, allowed the ball to just run across his body, when in the event he was almost clean through.
They've looked good on the break, actually, Chelsea. A couple of times they've just got in behind, they've dragged the 2 centre-backs in behind the full-backs and just opened that space up in the middle. And again, it's a good ball in, and Gallagher just doesn't read it. He just doesn't read that that ball is going to come across, and he's on his heels and it's past him.
Well, we played just under 10 minutes here. United lead by 1-0, but Chelsea have had 2 really good opportunities themselves. But they are wide open at the back as Martial comes forward again now. Wide to the left-hand side, and Sancho, who will try and take on Azpilicueta, who has played in some great Chelsea teams, but is career at Stamford Bridge looks to be coming to an end, and a side which is disintegrating around him at the moment as Gallagher plays it wide to the far side. Havertz manages to check back and keep the ball in play. Forward towards Gallagher again inside the penalty area, patrolled by Luke Shaw. It's wide towards the far side again and 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰. Azpilicueta back in field towards Chukwuemeka, and a lot of young players in the Chelsea team are having to learn some fairly harsh lessons early on here. Now Gallagher finding Azpilicueta down the line from Chukwuemeka, and 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰's got space down the right. Low ball into the penalty area is blocked though by Casemiro, and it's brought clear by Sancho. Looks to carry the ball up to the halfway line, but he's challenged by a retreating Enzo Fernandez, and now 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓼 has it back for Chelsea again, and here is Enzo Fernandez again. 11 minutes played on Talk Sport. Manchester United leading by a 1-0 thanks to Casemiro for the second game running, and one was enough at Bournemouth on Saturday. And the way this game has started, you feel that 1-0 won't be the final scoreline here.
No, I mean, look, Chelsea haven't come here to just sit behind the ball. They've got attacking players on the pitch, they're trying to utilise that, but they have left themselves so exposed when they lose the ball.
Well, Chelsea haven't won here since May of 2013 when Juan Mata scored the only goal. Now Gallagher. Rafa Benitez was the interim manager then, and he did have a measure of success despite not being hugely popular. Gallagher on the edge of the penalty area, quickly closed down by Casemiro, but here is Enzo Fernandez, the World Cup winner in the Chelsea side, and now Hall will go all the way back to the halfway line, and 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓼𝓷 once again. And Chelsea enjoying some decent possession here inside the United half. It's given away, but then won back by Gallagher, who sprays it wide to the far side. And Gallagher inside the penalty area, just slips at the crucial moment. Hall will try and win it back, but he's challenged by Anthony. But Hall, game, sprints wide to this near side to try and close down Wan-Bissaka, but now Bruno Fernandes quickly plays it forward. Martial with a clever touch to release Anthony. In space on this near side. Hall out of position to Anthony. Comes in field. The crowd urge him to shoot, and he does shoot left-footed, but he slipped in the act of shooting, and it squirts wide of the far post.
Yeah, he makes the wrong decision in the end, because he'd been closed down by Chalobah. It's a brilliant break. Lovely flick round the corner from Anthony Martial, and then Anthony's got to make the right decision. When that angle is closed down for the curling shot, you've then got to play the pass. Wrong decision, he slips, makes a hash of it, and the chance is gone.
13 minutes played. You're listening to Manchester United against Chelsea on Talk Sport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Manchester United against Chelsea. This game live right now for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. And Frank Lampard was in the team the last time Chelsea won here in the World Under-20s. England are leading Uruguay by 2-1 in the match which is currently underway. And in Super League tonight, Wigan have taken an early lead at Hull KR by 4-0. Now Hall on this near side, back again towards Enzo Fernandez, and that game in the Super League is live over on Talk Sport 2 as Hall's high ball wide to the far side is eventually overhit and it goes out of play, and United will have a goal kick. It was MNUCHE who was just unable to keep the ball in play.
Ten Hag, though, he's right on the edge of his technical area, just outside it in fact, having a go at a couple of his players, allowing Chelsea too much time and space to attack this Manchester United backline. That's not what they've been about actually under Ten Hag. He wants every single player to be a part of that defensive unit. Anthony's had a word with Wan-Bissaka as well, and he just wants that intensity in defensive situations. Okay when it seems open to go and attack, but yourselves have got to be just conscious of your positioning.
Chelsea with only 36 goals in 36 games so far. The lowest previous total in the Premier League was 46 back in 1996 as 𝓣𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓼𝓷𝓷𝓰 will shepherd the ball back towards Kepa again on the edge of the penalty area as it breaks down between Bruno Fernandes and Anthony Martial. And we will have all angles covered in the relegation battle on the final day of the season. Game day live with Adrian Durham, live from Goodison Park, where a win for Everton against Bournemouth will mean survival for them. Live on TalkSport, we have commentary of Leicester against West Ham with Sam Matterface and Scott Minto, and Ian Danter and Perry Groves on TalkSport 2. We'll bring you Leeds against Spurs, and we will have 4 other Premier League games live on the TalkSport app on Sunday afternoon, and on TalkSport 2 we're live at Wembley at 1:30 for Carlisle against Stockport in the League 2 playoff final. The League 1 playoff final, big South Yorkshire derby, Barnsley against Sheffield Wednesday, live on TalkSport 3 o'clock on Monday. And then it's the European finals coming up, Sevilla against Roma next Wednesday, the Europa League final. Of course, we have the FA Cup final, the Manchester derby, a week on Saturday on TalkSport at 3 o'clock. On the 7th of June, it is West Ham against Fiorentina, live from Prague, the Europa Conference League final. And then the Champions League final from Istanbul, Manchester City against Inter Milan on the 10th of June, all live on TalkSport. Now Anthony comes forward now for Manchester United again. A low ball in there was swept away by Chalobah up towards the halfway line. But United in firm control of this game at the moment whenever they have the ball. 16 minutes play. Chelsea have had their moments, and just a lack of calmness inside the penalty area has cost them at both ends so far.
Manchester United as well, they've been very, very sloppy when they've suddenly opened up those positions. It's been a loose pass from a number of the players so far. And both of these sides, I mean, they're so guilty in terms of missing chances. Lovely flick from Fernandes. He makes that run very, very well from that position alongside the striker. Didn't quite get to Martial.
Now a Chelsea player has gone down, Chukwuemeka, on the far side, and in the end it's been played out by Madueke. And Stuart Atwell has come back and I think has awarded Chelsea a free kick for the earlier challenge. And Chukwuemeka making only his second start for Chelsea this evening in the Premier League. Signed for £20 million from Aston Villa, one of a number of really good young players to have come through their academy over the past couple of years. He was crunched by Casemiro, Chukwuemeka. But Chelsea look to build again now with Fofana wide on the far side. Havertz has almost given the ball away to Eriksen, but Chukwuemeka helps him out and lofts it wide to this near side. And the peroxide topped Mudryk. Now Enzo Fernandez high towards Havertz inside the area, headed away though by Lindelof, and then Gallagher just miscontrols, but Chalobah steps in before Fernandez to head the ball away, but in the space he's vacated, Anthony now sprints forward for Manchester United in towards Martial, but he dallied inside the penalty area. The challenge came in for Fofana, and it's gathered by Kepa.
I mean, come on. 3 against 1 Manchester United. Great run from Fernandes on the overlap of Anthony, which opened up the space to pass it to Martial. All he's got to do is control it, and then he's in on goal, 1v1 with the goalkeeper. An absolutely dreadful touch. No concentration whatsoever. Just completely wastes the chance. Runs it into Kepa's hands. Waste.
Well, Erik ten Hag did say this week that he feels United are a much better side with Martial in the team. Others may say the jury's out.
I mean, it doesn't get any easier. A simple rolled pass across to you, no pressure on you whatsoever, just a nice little touch needed, or even he could have took it himself without even taking the touch. Instead, he tries to control it with the outside of his right foot, which I don't really see why you would do that. You'd open yourself up because you're on the left-hand side. Just open that up onto your left foot. Instead, it was a woeful touch and a good bit of defending in the end from Azpilicueta.
Well, Azpilicueta, following that challenge on Martial, has now gone down on the far side and is receiving treatment. Of course, he's been used sparingly by Chelsea this season. The fewest starts in his 11 seasons at the club. Has won 8 major honours during his time with Chelsea. And really, he is a reminder of better times, certainly in this Chelsea team on show here tonight, although we can't really blame the young players who are out there for the problems here this season.
No, we can't. And actually, I think they've shown really how immobile that Manchester United midfield is. You know, that energy, that enthusiasm in that Chelsea midfield, I think, have been good when they've attacked and shown that vulnerability that Manchester United still have. But the quality and the confidence maybe from more experienced players isn't quite there.
Well, that goal from Casemiro means Chelsea have only kept 2 clean sheets now in their last 16 games, and they've only won 2 of 16 games this season when they've conceded the opening goal. And Gallagher just loses his footing on this near side and invites the challenge from wan-Bissaka. But credit to Gallagher, and it's a fairly low bar, but at least he's running around at the moment and offering some endeavour.
I think that's the minimum you always get from him, is that incredible effort, that work rate. He doesn't shy away either from wanting the ball and trying to make things happen. It's not quite happened for him yet in a Chelsea shirt, but at least he's one that's got the endeavour and the realisation of what's required.
21 minutes played here on TalkSport at Old Trafford, live and exclusive to national radio. It is Manchester United 1, Chelsea 0. Casemiro with the early goal, and as things stand, United will be heading up into 3rd place before the final day of the season on Sunday. Now Enzo Fernandez has been caught by Bruno Fernandes just inside the United half, and Chelsea will have a free kick. Enzo Fernandez, a large part of the £600 million that Chelsea have spent in the 2 transfer windows under Todd Bowley. Lewis Hall on this near side, and it's been a season of contrast for the Argentinian, winning the World Cup before Christmas and then joining Chelsea afterwards. Now Havertz wide to the far side, plays the 1-2 with Azpilicueta, who seems to be okay. Madueke takes over down the Chelsea right, looking to twist and turn beyond Shaw, deep into the penalty area. Shaw makes the challenge, and in the end Stuart Atwell takes the view of the assistant on the far side and has given a corner kick to Chelsea.
He's had such a good season, hasn't he, Luke Shaw? He's starting to get that aura that Kyle Walker has, because he's such an incredible athlete, so quick over the ground, Luke Shaw, that players are finding it very, very difficult once they get in a 1v1 situation with him to get past him.
Corner kick will be taken by Lewis Hall in towards the far post, headed down towards goal by Chalobah. He appeals for handball deep inside the 6-yard area. Nothing is given. A Chelsea player has stayed down inside the penalty area. The play continues with United attacking on this near side. They're right with Anthony. Now wide to wan-Bissaka. Chelsea just short-handed at the back at the moment as Anthony, with a mazy dribble up towards the edge of the penalty area, goes down, challenged by Chalobah. No free kick is given. Anthony has gone down, apparently in some pain inside the area, waving towards the medical team, now slapping the ground in pain. But Stuart Atwell allows play to continue until wan-Bissaka puts it out on this near side.
Yeah, he's writhing in agony, Anthony, after that challenge from Trevor Chalobah. He really did wrap his foot around that. You just wonder whether Anthony has rolled an ankle perhaps in the challenge. You hope not.
Well, it's currently Manchester United 1, Chelsea 0 for the latest odds. Head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get United at 4-1 on, Chelsea at 10-1, the draw 24-5. All thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Well, Anthony has been clutching his right ankle on this near side, and it will be a concern for Erik ten Hag, of course, with the cup final coming up in a week and a half's time. And it did seem the challenge from Chalobah was fair enough.
Oh, he got the ball, that's for sure. He really did hook his foot around to get the ball. Like I said, you just wonder whether in the challenge he's rolled his ankle, which can easily happen in those moments, but he looks in a lot of pain, I have to say.
Well, Wesley Fofana was the Chelsea player who was down inside the penalty area at the other end, and this doesn't look good for Anthony, because the stretcher has been called for on this near side, and now the paramedic team are heading on to the field of play as well.
He looks very, very upset. I think he's in tears, Anthony. He feels like there's something really serious happened to him, and they're being very, very careful with him, very gentle with the way that they're just making sure they move him into a position to be able to put him on the stretcher. It's not ever nice to see such a thing.
Marcus Rashford is warming up on this near side. During this break, Erik ten Hag has been talking to Jadon Sancho just in front of us in some detail here at Old Trafford. And we're just watching the replay again now. Chalobah, well, he won the ball, and then it seemed that Anthony really felt the pain as he fell to ground.
Yeah, I think possibly it's one of those nasty ones where, as the challenge is made, your trailing foot as the attacker almost gets, you know, sat on as such within the challenge, and then your ankle goes underneath you. It can be very, very painful, and you just hope it's not as serious as he clearly feels it is.
Well, it's always a difficult time for players in this sort of situation with massive games coming up. The prize is so big, an FA Cup final for a young player, and at the moment Anthony seems to have brushed aside the stretcher. He's back on his feet, but it's fairly clear he won't be carrying on here, and Marcus Rashford is getting ready to come on. He can barely put any weight on his right foot at all. And now he's gone back on his haunches, and he may need to be carried off here.
Yeah, I think he has to. I think it's that shock that sort of hits you as a player. You think, actually, no, can I be okay? You stand up, maybe feel that pain, and rightly so, he's now being helped from the pitch as they just strap him in.
And it's a very sad sight for Anthony on such a pleasant, warm, early summer's evening here. He is currently being very carefully put onto the stretcher. He's got his hands across his face. He looks to be in tears. And Anthony now will be carried off down the tunnel here at Old Trafford. Sympathetic applause from all sides, including a number of the Chelsea supporters away to our right. And Erik ten Hag, Anthony, and all concerned at Manchester United will just be hoping that this is not as bad as it first appears.
Of course, you know, our best wishes to Anthony. We don't want that to be a bad injury. Obviously, the realisation, I'm sure, as well, that he's likely to miss a real important final, again, can be very upsetting.
Well, Marcus Rashford will be coming on. 29 goals this season, but only 2 in his previous 10 games in the Premier League. But it's an unexpectedly early return for him here tonight, with 28 minutes played on TalkSport. And I'm sure that Rashford would have only been used sparingly here tonight, ideally for Erik ten Hag, but really his hand has been forced, and Rashford goes over onto the left, and Sancho is now on the right.
And I think, though, they must feel he's fit enough, because you've got Garnacho on the bench. You could have brought him on and saved Rashford if you thought, well, we can only really give him 20 minutes. So as far as the Manchester United medical staff and management are concerned, he was pretty much ready to play 90 minutes, but they were maybe being a little bit more cautious. But he's on now.
And now Lindelof steps in before Havertz, midway inside the United half. A long ball played forward, looking for Rashford, but Azpilicueta gets there first to hook the ball away.
Yeah, he's thinking, cheers.
Yeah. Well, time may be running out for Cesar Azpilicueta, but he'll be tested by one of the best of the current breed here in the remainder of this game at Old Trafford. As Chelsea clear, Madueke infield towards Gallagher. Everything for them is coming down that far side, the right. Now Madueke again, Chukwuemeka. And there have been 1 or 2 promising signs for Chelsea. Defensively, of course, they've not been too good, but they have moved the ball forward quite sweetly. Young players here looking to be expansive.
Yeah, sharp, haven't they? In possession, good movement, good energy about the forward players so far. They've asked a few questions, and really they should have been at least level with that Mudryk chance. So there are at least some positive signs for Chelsea.
Madueke wide towards Azpilicueta. Havertz back towards Madueke again. It's a good run into the penalty area from him. Then he just gets closed down at the crucial moment. Azpilicueta Opens out the angle here for Chukwuemeka, who can break towards the edge of the penalty area on the right. Now Madueke digs out the cross, but it's headed away by Casemiro, and Chelsea will have a throw-in. On a couple of occasions now, there has been an opportunity for Madueke to cross the ball in, and it's not quite happened. It's now Hull KR 4, Wigan 4 in the Super League, and there's commentary on that game over on TalkSport 2. If you download the TalkSport app, you can either listen to the football here or the Super League over on TalkSport 2, and the app will be very handy on Sunday afternoon when we have 6 Premier League games on offer for you. 4 of those will be only available on the app, with Leicester against West Ham on TalkSport and Leeds against Spurs on TalkSport 2. Now Sancho comes forward now down the centre, fighting Martial, but he just slips at the crucial moment, and Chalobah is able to nip in and get the ball away.
Oh, he's having a shocker at the moment, Martial. Again, a brilliant break. That one killer pass was needed, and he just slips over. You can look at your boots, you've got to have the right footwear on.
Now Hall has been released by Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea down the left. The crossing is a good one, but a stooping Havertz heads it wide at the Stretford end.
That's what they've been really good at, Chelsea. When they've broken, they've made sure that they've got a few numbers in the middle, right between the 2 centre-backs, and it's happened 2 or 3 times now. Lovely ball in from Lewis Hall, right on the money for Kai Havertz, who, like you said, just stoops low, just in front of the 6-yard box, and just gets his angles all wrong. It's just a really, really poor attempt from Kai Havertz. He's just got to guide that in towards David De Gea's feet. Instead, he tries to hammer it towards the near post and gets it horribly wrong.
Well, United do have the best home defence in the Premier League this season. 11 clean sheets, only 8 conceded here, but Chelsea have had 3 very good chances here so far tonight. 13 minutes to play in the first half here on TalkSport. There's Martial, has it for United in the centre circle, plays it wide to Shaw down the left, and further wide towards Rashford. Azpilicueta backpedaling, Rashford breezes beyond him deep into the penalty area. It's now cleared away as far as Bruno Fernandes. He goes down under the challenge of Fofana, and he's remained down as well inside the penalty area. Stuart Atwell has waved away any penalty appeals for now, and Bruno Fernandes is just clutching his left Achilles here, but he looks to be okay.
I think he gets his foot trodden on. It's as simple as that. I think Fofana treads on his toes effectively. It's whether the officials think that that's enough contact to warrant a penalty. I'd be very, very surprised if this was to be given.
Well, Michael Salisbury may be called into action once again here at Stockley Park. It was Chukwuemeka who was initially with him. Yeah, then Fofana did clip his left heel.
Yeah, it wasn't a challenge. It's just the way his foot movements have almost collided with Fernandes, and he hits the back of his heel. It's not a penalty. If
there was a check, it was over very quickly. We're back underway here at Old Trafford on TalkSport, where Manchester United lead Chelsea by a 1-0. Bruno Fernandes with a ball clipped forward looking for Sancho, but it's beyond him, and it's claimed by Kepa.
And Erik ten Hag, he's furious, and he should be. You know, Chelsea are there for the taking. You've allowed them 3 chances, which shouldn't be happening. And then also, when you've had some great opportunities, you've been so wasteful. You can see he's incredibly vexed down there on the touchline, sort of almost talking to himself as if to what is happening for his side when they should be 3 up.
Chukwuemeka now with a powerful run into the penalty area down the right. The crossing is blocked by the back of Bruno Fernandes. United try and get the ball clear. Azpilicueta almost wins it back, but now United smartly can break. A turn from Casemiro looks to release the run of Bruno Fernandes on the far side. Rashford just holds his run and then darts forward down the left. Sancho checks to stay onside. Martial waits in the centre, but here is Sancho beyond 1 and then 2. Right-footed shot though is blocked by Chalobah. Eriksen gathers for United, square to Bruno Fernandes again, like a conductor leading the orchestra here, finding Rashford, who steps in field onto his right foot, but he's crowded out, but he's managed to find Eriksen. And here is Wan-Bissaka. United very narrow here, but Casemiro miscontrols inside the area, and it's swept away by Azpilicueta once again, who looks to be blowing here. Cesar Azpilicueta having to deal with Marcus Rashford on the far side.
Hands on his knees, no time to relax. Cesar. Manchester United so dangerous on the break, such pace, and trickery from their players.
Well, Casemiro has now been challenged by Gallagher on this near side. It's only a throw-in in the end as we enter the final 10 minutes of the first half here. And this has not really had an end-of-season feel about it. The crowd have been involved as Havertz drags Varane to the ground, and it will be a free kick to Manchester United. And both teams are having a go. I think Chelsea believe that the best form of defence is attack here.
Yeah, a couple of times when they've won the ball, you've seen Frank Lampard almost saying, get forwards, get up the pitch, and try and get the numbers you require when you're looking to attack sides on the break. You need to get numbers and try and outnumber the Manchester United defence, and they've done it well at times.
And you're listening to Man United against Chelsea on TalkSport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. And Manchester United unbeaten in their previous 10 Premier League games against Chelsea, although 7 of those have been drawn. If they avoid defeat here tonight, it will be their best ever run against Chelsea in their league history. Chelsea haven't won in the Premier League since November of 2017, when Alvaro Morata scored the only goal at Stamford Bridge, and it's now only 2 wins in the previous 14 games, and both of those have come at Wembley in an FA Cup semi-final and the final in 2018. And United here have been much the better side, but it's still only 1-0 with 8 minutes to play in the first half. And here are the thoughts of Dean Ashton.
I think Manchester United have got themselves into good positions. It's no surprise really where we're at with this game. Both sides well underperformed their XG this season, and I'm talking well underperform it. Both sides. I mean, Manchester United scored 52 for a 60 XG, and Chelsea 36 for a 45 XG. I mean, they're just way underperforming the chances they create, and we've seen it here right in front of our eyes that they're wasteful in those big opportunities, those big moments where that quality's needed. They've both lacked it actually.
But Chelsea facing a team who are 27 games unbeaten here at Old Trafford, and they've now scored 60 goals in that run. Real Sociedad, the last side to win here on match day 1 of the Europa League back on September the 8th, and Brighton, the only side to win a Premier League game here on the opening day. Mudryk now for Chelsea, looking to work a 1-2 at Havertz and break into the penalty area. He then goes down, but he was off balance. Half-hearted appeals for handball from Havertz as United clear, but Chelsea now have it back with Fofana. And now Chukwuemeka. Enzo Fernandez looks to his right. He was looking for movement down the right, but Azpilicueta stayed where he was. So it's a short ball to Chalobah, and further wide towards Lewis Hall again, a player who's shown up well here so far. England under-19 international. They had a very good summer, winning their Euro 12 months ago. Now Havertz coming in field, pings in a left-footed shot which is blocked by Casemiro, and it will spin away on the far side.
I've got to say, Mudryk, he does show the odd sign of sheer brilliance, raw speed, and he did in that little run that he just had. All of a sudden he makes people look like they're stood still, and they're not. He's got such incredible acceleration, good footwork, lovely couple of 1-2s there, nearly got himself into a goal-scoring position.
Well, he scored 3 excellent goals for Shakhtar in the group stage of the Champions League, but he's clearly a confidence player, as Mudryk now looks to skip away from Wan-Bissaka, really bearing out Dean's point as it bobbles away from him and behind for a goal kick. But when he was at Shakhtar on form, he was the main man. Everybody knew it. He comes here to Chelsea. He's one of a busload of players to arrive at the same time. Doesn't know the country. He's come from a country in a very difficult situation, and all those things will weigh on your mind.
Yeah, it would do, and you can tell he's not really got that genuine confidence, even with that touch there. Lovely pass into him, horrendous touch, completely kicked it out of play, and a goal kick to Manchester United, and another frustrating watch, I'm sure, for those Chelsea supporters over to our right-hand side, because they've had some good moments, but just lacked conviction, lacked confidence, lacked quality.
He cost £88.5 million, Mykhailo Mudryk, and that's not his fault, but that's another millstone around, isn't it?
It is. I think I've seen a few glimpses where you just think, wow, this kid could be just a ridiculous player.
Well, let's hope he finds his form and finds his confidence next season. As it's back from Azpilicueta.
Also, sorry, Nige, just a little clip there where Chelsea were trying to play out from the back. Manchester United are so far off when it comes to trying to press. Bruno Fernandes is normally the trigger, but they don't all go at once. They really don't. I think that's something that can be really improved upon from Ten Hag's point of view. When they press, they do it as a proper team, not as one or two.
Now Chukwuemeka with a really enterprising run down the centre. Wide towards Madueke for Chelsea on the right. He cuts back in field, the cross high to the far post. Headed away by Wan-Bissaka, recovered by Hall. He now gets it back from Havertz inside the penalty area. Mudryk square towards Enzo Fernandez. Chukwuemeka and Madueke again. Looking to go on the outside this time. A low ball in. Gallagher, though, miscontrols. The ball was actually behind him on the edge of the 6-yard area, and United will scramble the ball away. And now Bruno Fernandes seemingly takes his eye off it and gives it back to Chukwuemeka. Enzo Fernandez now. The ball in field towards Havertz. Flicks it into the path of Mudryk, and Chelsea again building on the far side. Mudryk trying to deliver a cross into the penalty area. It balloons into the path of Lewis Hall. He drives it low, but it's blocked at the near post by Wan-Bissaka. And United here are giving the ball away with regularity. Bruno Fernandes was closed down there by Chalobah, and as the ball spun away on this near side, the final touch was off the United captain, and it will be a throw into Chelsea. And they're fortunate, United, here, that Chelsea haven't pulled level.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was good block by Wan-Bissaka in the end, but too often they've allowed to be out running that midfield, and actually their default position is just to drop. So Casemiro drops, Eriksen drops, because they haven't got that energy to go and close necessarily as a pair. So they just drop really deep and just then allow that space out wide for Chelsea, who have again been in some good positions.
3 minutes to play in the first half here on TalkSport. United leading by 1-0. Casemiro scoring after 6 minutes. United have not conceded in their previous 6 Premier League games here. And they've become a very tough nut to crack. Incredibly, 41% of the goals they've conceded this season have come in 3 games. At Brentford, where they let 4 in. At Manchester City, where they let 6 in. And of course at Liverpool, where they let 7 in. Apart from that, they've been pretty secure. But Chelsea moving forward again now with Chukwuemeka, has done really well in the first half. Now Havertz back towards Enzo Fernandez. It's clipped wide towards this near side. Mudryk looking to gather, but it's cleared away by Wan-Bissaka, and it's quickly won back by Gallagher.
Yeah, you can sense it in the United crowd, can't you? In terms of their frustration at giving the ball away, being loose with the pass.
But now a flick releasing Gallagher on the edge of the penalty area. Right footed curler from him, but it was always set just too far outside that right-hand post, and it drifts harmlessly wide.
Yeah, decent little Cruyff flick from Azpilicueta, who'd got forward to link up. Gallagher then onto his right foot. David De Gea could have stood in the stand, to be honest, and watched that. He just stood there and watched that sail handsomely wide of his left-hand post. 4 from Gallagher.
Well, it's been a similar game in some respects to what happened on Sunday, because of course City scored the early goal and then Chelsea did okay, and they've maybe done slightly better than okay here moving forward tonight, but United have not been able to pick them off. And here is an opportunity for Eriksen on the far side. Chukwuemeka comes across to make the challenge, and Eriksen is forced out, but United do have the throw-in, but it quickly comes to nothing, and Madueke will bring it clear for Chelsea on the far side. Coming in field, just stumbles, and he was clipped there by a retreating Casemiro, and it will be a free kick.
Again, just sloppy from Eriksen, looking to play the quick throw-in. His teammates weren't ready, and then you chase it back towards your own goal. I think they found it hard work in that midfield area against likes of Chukwuemeka, who's been brilliant, Madueke as well, who's away now.
A minimum of 6 added minutes at the end of the first half. Enzo Fernandez forward towards Gallagher, but he drags it wide. What a chance for Chelsea again. Conor Gallagher clean through, great vision by Enzo Fernandez, and Gallagher fails to hit the target.
Oh, it's a brilliant move from Chelsea. I love the way that they just played that in. They sucked Lindelof out of position and then played that ball in towards Gallagher, who had just spotted that gap. He'd made that run into that space just inside Shaw, who didn't really spot the run from Gallagher. Took a lovely touch with his right foot and then went across David De Gea, as you should do. But you watch that ball, watch the way it rotates, because he just bobbles it. He hits the top of the ball and you can just see then it's rotating over his head and wide of the post. It's a poor effort once again, just to add to the lack of quality in this game.
Well, the Chelsea fans exasperated away to our right, because they've had more chances in this game than Manchester United. We've had one effort on target, Casemiro shouldering the ball in to score the only goal so far, but Chelsea should be ahead.
Yeah, they should. I mean, we're not talking about average chances, we're talking about really clear chances. Mudryk, now Gallagher, Havertz with the header, they're clear-cut chances, and they haven't even tested the goalkeeper.
Well, Chelsea with 65% of the possession so far. 5 efforts, none on target. United have had 2, 1 on target. That was the goal. Free kick, which is played short to Varane, who brings it forward for United on this near side. Now Wan-Bissaka. And Varane again, checking away from Mudryk. Lovely football. Sancho just in front of us on this near side. United attacking the old scoreboard end away to our right in the first half here. And the sun is just about set behind the Stretford end on the far side. Still a very pleasantly warm evening here in Greater Manchester. But United, not for the first time recently, are just getting the job done, but they've been helped out by some profligate finishing from Chelsea, as Hall does really well to control a dropping ball over his shoulder and then bring the ball clear. Enzo Fernandez was caught by Bruno Fernandes, and it will be a free kick.
Just taking a little bit of a risk, Enzo Fernandez. Got to say, I thought it was a foul though. Bruno Fernandes just easing him off the ball.
And we are nearly 3 minutes into 6 added minutes. The delay caused by the injury to Anthony, who was stretchered off after 28 minutes here to be replaced by Marcus Rashford. Looked to be an injury to the right ankle, and we will get news live from the tunnel at the end of this game on the severity of that injury, as Wan-Bissaka slides in to win it back from Gallagher, who stays down for Chelsea. And now there's an opportunity for Sancho to break towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got options left and right, and in the end he plays it behind Eriksen, and Chelsea bring the ball clear. Gallagher only just getting back to his feet, but now Fofana lays it wide to the far side behind Madueke. It's out of play for a goal kick, and at times we've had the quality of an under-8s game on an icy pitch.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, it's one of the worst games of football I've seen in terms of simple things done poorly. A bad touch, the wrong pass, playing out of play. I mean, these are elite level professional footballers. I don't understand how you can be this bad with such the most simplest of tasks.
Well, neither manager looks particularly happy at the moment. Erik ten Hag has retreated to his bench. He spent much of the first half stalking the technical area. Frank Lampard has only come out towards the edge of the pitch sporadically, so Anthony Taylor, the fourth official, has had quite an easy evening so far, and it's been one of those games where we've had excitement, but so much of it has been caused by errors.
Yeah, I mean, but we should see goals. You know, we probably should have seen 4 goals in this half with the chances that have been created.
A scoreline of maybe 2-1 to Chelsea would not flatter them on balance of play, but as it is, United lead here with just over a minute of added time to play in the first half. Bruno Fernandes challenged by Enzo Fernandez, but it breaks for Casemiro. Lovely ball clipped in towards Sancho. There's the second score by Martial. And on the stroke of half-time, Manchester United have surely sealed a place in the Champions League. Chelsea undone defensively once again. And Martial, who has had a haphazard first half, eventually comes up with a headline moment. And it's Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0.
And when you haven't had a good half as a centre-forward, what do you need? You need a tap-in from 2 yards. And Sancho does that. It's a lovely little dinked pass from Casemiro into Sancho's path. I don't know where the Chelsea defence were, by the way. Chalobah gets sucked out of position. Hall's not tucking in as left-back. Sancho just runs in, and he then just waits for Anthony Martial. He just passes it across. Simplest of tasks for Martial to tap in, and that's what you do as a centre forward. You can be absolutely awful, and then you stick one in the back of the net from 2 yards. Lovely.
That's what you did throughout your career,
and I loved it. Thanks. Goal bonus, tick.
It was a lovely.
target, and those two, of course, ended up in the back of the net. Goals from Casemiro and Anthony Martial. We're just watching Kobbie Mainoo of the under-23s receive his Player of the Season award in front of these home fans. He's going to be a big player for the future. If you missed the news, Manchester City's Erling Haaland was named the Football Writers Association Player of the Year at an award ceremony in London tonight. Chelsea's Sam Kerr winning the Women's Award. You're listening to Kickoff live on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. At the break, live and exclusively at Old Trafford in the Premier League. It is Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0.
Kickoff on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
And he's barrelled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar, past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result: enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in. Conditions apply. 18+. Always drink responsibly.
Rodri to De Bruyne, flicked onto Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, 𝓳𝓸𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰. The smart hawk hides its talents. For taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes. At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In May, we've got Stone Market Natural Stone Paving Project Packs at £18.99 per square metre ex VAT. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com. We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes. That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
Bing bong. Attentions please, attentions please. We got big new news. Just Eat now does grocery delivery. No problemo if you forgot the only thing you went in the shop to buy. Want ice cream for breakfast? Caught the cat licking the butter. So, don't cry over spilt milk. Get it delivered to your door from Just Eat instead. Grocery delivery. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Only available from participating stores and selected locations. Products subject to availability. Service charge may apply. See justeat.co.uk for more details.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
For insightful analysis of every kick and every goal from the weekend's Premier League action, get The Game from The Times on Monday. Subscribe today at thetimes.co.uk/football for provocative and compelling opinions from highly respectable writers, including Tony Cascarino, Ian Hawkey, and the voice of football, Henry Winter. Try it free for 1 month at thetimes.co.uk/football or pick up the free supplement in The Times on Monday.
Lovely bit of football!
Auto renews at £26 a month unless cancelled. T's and C's apply.
This football season, get a hand from Betfair's popular Bet Builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip in just one tap. Spend less time finger faffing and place your bet the easy way. Now that's handy, because we're Betfair.
Exclusive to Betfair Sportsbook. Terms and conditions apply. Please see frequently asked questions on support.betfair.com. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with a Now Sports membership. Stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Fired up and raring to go.
It's the totally immersive football experience. Game day.
The epicenter of world-class football coverage.
What a ball!
Game day kickoff on TalkSport.
There's a free kick for United. It's been awarded on the far side by Stuart Hatwell, the referee. High in Casemiro! And Casemiro rises to head the opening goal. And it's the Brazilian who strikes yet again. His purple patch in front of goal continues. And that one could be enough to ease United United into the Champions League. Casemiro, lovely ball clipped in towards Sancho. There's the second score by Martial. And on the stroke of half-time, Manchester United have surely sealed a place in the Champions League. Chelsea undone defensively once again.
Well, you've got to say it's been a sloppy first half, but it has led to quite a bit of entertainment. Manchester United 2-0 up on Chelsea in the Premier League, headed up to third, but more importantly, heading towards qualification for the Champions League next season. Remember, they only need a point, so a 2-goal cushion looks like it's very comfortable. But if the mistakes continue, just about anything can happen in that second half. We've just seen a bona fide Manchester United legend in the shape of Jaap Stam making his way along the pitch and just up into the crowd in front of us, and all the Manchester United fans applaud him. But a penny for his thoughts after some of the defending he's witnessed in that first half. He was absolutely unbelievable in his day, and Manchester United would do well to get a defender like him this summer. Just to let you know, England have beaten Uruguay in the Under-20s World Cup. 2 goals scored by each team in the 99th and 100th minute, but it's England that get over the line. And over on TalkSport 2 right now, Wigan lead Hull KR 10 points to 4 in Super League. Just hit live games on your TalkSport app. It's as easy as a swipe of a finger between our live action here in the Premier League and there in the Super League. Okay, let's get our half-time odds on TalkSport with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
Nicola McGeady of Ladbrokes joins us once again, and it looks like Manchester United are cruising towards victory, but as I mentioned, neither side has played at their absolute best. Let's call it that.
Absolutely. I mean, United are not backable right now. We only see this going one way, but you're right. Chelsea are just so poor as well, and but we've had an entertaining game so far. Chelsea, they seem to up the urgency before half-time, but they haven't really troubled De Gea, so we don't give them a chance of salvaging this. We make them 28-1. The draw will be a mountain to climb as well if they want that at 14-1. It is good news for United for next season. They're 25-1 on to get the job done tonight. It is even money that Chelsea get in the score sheet, and we see both teams to score land. And it is 7-2 though, that the score remains the same and as is. But it should be an interesting second half.
It should be. Nicola, thank you very much. Those were the latest odds with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
This Saturday, TalkSport will bring you exclusive radio commentary of Lawrence Akoli taking on Chris Billam-Smith for the WBO World Cruiserweight title. That is live from Bournemouth's Vitality Stadium. Our coverage will kick off at 7 p.m. over on TalkSport 2. It will then move over to TalkSport at 9 p.m. for the main event. Exclusive World Championship Boxing this Saturday live right here on TalkSport. And you can get the last remaining tickets at boxer.com. That's boxer.com with 2 X's. Remember, we got loads of live football for you. Massive weekend of finals. We'll have the Championship playoff final exclusively on TalkSport between Coventry and Luton. It's a 4:45 kickoff on Saturday. On Sunday, Carlisle against Stockport kicks off at 1:30 p.m. It's exclusively live for you on TalkSport 2. That, of course, the League 2 playoff final. On Sunday, we will also have the final day of the Premier League season covered with all the goals as they go in. Leicester versus West Ham is our main event. 4:30 kickoff exclusively on TalkSport. 4:30 kickoff as well, of course, between Leeds and Spurs on TalkSport 2. And then on Monday, a 3 o'clock kickoff between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday in the League 1 playoff final here on TalkSport. So download the TalkSport app. You will not miss a moment. Okay, half-time here at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading Chelsea by 2-0. Looks like Tyrell Malacia will be coming on for Manchester United. He's the only United player out there warming up, but he's fully stripped off. And a few Chelsea players, Dean Ashton, look like they might be coming on maybe early in the second half. I'm looking at João Felix and thinking, what impact could he have had in front of goal today?
I mean, he's a good player, of course, a quality player, but I wouldn't back any Chelsea player at the moment to score a goal. I wouldn't. They don't look confident enough. You've got to be confident. You thrive off it as a striker in front of goal when you look and feel as if you're going to score. And, even when you look at the way they're striking the ball, there's no there's not been a clean strike in them, have there? You know, Gallagher bobbled one, Mudryk sliced his side foot, Havertz, you know, shanked his header wide. It's just every time no one's just taking it, and it's just being crisply struck by someone that's confident. But of course, given the opportunity, he's shown in the past that João Felix can be a terrific player. When he first joined Chelsea, I thought he was outstanding, but he's gone off the boil a bit.
How big a task is it for, as Manchester United come out for the second half very quickly, for Frank Lampard to keep his team concentrated, focused and motivated, 2 goals down at Old Trafford with nothing to really play for?
Well, I think he'll have been annoyed with them, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform. Of course he won't want them to pick up any more injuries. We've seen Anthony, but also I think you've got to keep a standard and get to a standard that's going to be required if you want to beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final. I think that's really important.
OK, looks like the change is being made. Luke Shaw going off for Manchester United, Malacia coming on in his place, and that will be their second change of the evening. The ball is on the spot. Second half, Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0 from the Premier League, with Dean Ashton, the former West Ham striker, and TalkSport's Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Hugh. And it's United who get the second half underway, attacking the Stretford end away to our left-hand side. Darkness hasn't quite descended here yet at Old Trafford as we approach the longest day of the year. United in their red shirts and white shorts, and Chelsea in all blue, approaching the end of what must feel like their longest season for a long time, because it started off poorly and has got worse, although they have lost 13 of 30 games since Thomas Tuchel departed. Under him they lost 11 of 63, and you just wonder, Dean, if they'd kept hold of him, if they'd maybe backed him, if they'd had words, would things have been any worse with Thomas Tuchel as coach as they have been without him?
Of course not, of course not. But they reacted and felt that it was the right decision. It wasn't the right decision, of course not. And now, you know, you're looking at these, they can't be any worse. I suppose that's the only shining light, is you think these players cannot be worse than what they have been. So whoever comes in, if you get it right, there are a lot of quality players there. We know they've quality, they've shown it previously.
Now an opportunity for Lindelof, who wins it back, and he plays it square to Sancho. Sancho laid back to Bruno Fernandes, and he curls the shot against the top of the crossbar, and it spins high into the Stretford end. And Chelsea there just gave the ball away so simply, and United should be 3-0 up.
They showed Bruno Fernandes getting on the end of a really unselfish pass from Sancho. When they broke, it was Lindelof who caught Gallagher out of possession. Lovely pass in towards Sancho. He just lays it off to Bruno Fernandes, and I don't know why he's trying to rip the leather off the ball. Just pass it into the goal. He's trying to absolutely whack it, and he does, right off the corner of crossbar and post. Another golden chance missed.
Havertz with a crossfield ball looking for Hall, and it's cleared away by United. A reminder of their team again: Tyrell Malacia coming on for Luke Shaw at half-time. Earlier, Anthony was stretchered off and Marcus Rashford came on for him. So it's De Gea in goal. The back four is now Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Lindelof and Malacia. Casemiro and Eriksen holding in midfield. It is Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, with Bruno Fernandes in the 10 role and Anthony Martial up front. The Chelsea team: Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Fofana, Chalobah and Hall, Fernandes, Gallagher and Chukwuemeka in midfield, Madueke and Mudryk either side of Havertz in attack. Nearly 3 minutes played in the second half here at Old Trafford on TalkSport. United leading by 2-0, and at the moment they are cruising back into the Champions League. So all the drama on the final day will surround the relegation battle, and we will have everything covered on TalkSport. Adrian Durham presenting Game Day Live from Goodison Park. A win for Everton and they will be safe against Bournemouth. If they slip up, then there is hope for Leicester at home to West Ham. That is live on TalkSport. And Leeds at home to Spurs. That will be live on TalkSport too, with 4 more games available on the TalkSport app. Now Madueke coming forward for Chelsea on this near side, and he's challenged by Casemiro. The assistant on this near side was initially going to give a goal kick, but then the ball bounced off the corner flag before it reached him, so he anticipated it and in the end had to give a throw in.
Yeah, another good bit of play though from Casemiro. So clever at that, just spotting the danger, running out of that midfield position into the full-back area, and winning his team a throw in. I know it seems a simple thing, but it's so crucial for your centre-backs.
And the Chelsea fans away to our right-hand side. They've still sold up their allocation here. They're all stood up in the safe standing area of Old Trafford. And one or two of the Chelsea players, including Felix, were warming up at half-time as Bruno Fernandes plays it forward looking for Sanchez, but it's guided away by Hall and then cleared by Kepa on the far side. And Lewis Hall was caught out for the second goal, but he's got forward well. And I could imagine that a team maybe with 3 central defenders, he would be a very handy play.
I agree, yeah. Huge promise. And again, just that's coaching, is that error that he made for the second goal.
And now an opportunity for Mudryk to cut in field from the left-hand side. Real pace for him up to the edge of the penalty area, and the shot took a deflection, and in the end De Gea had to readjust and turn the ball behind for a corner kick.
Made a lot of that, didn't he, David De Gea? It wasn't at pace. They're taking it quickly though, Chelsea.
Short to Mudryk, in towards Gallagher, and it's wasted, cleared away by Malacia.
Yeah, it was just good play from Mudryk, good pace, opened up for him. Strike was pathetic, I have to say, another bobbling effort, but De Gea just made a lot of it. I think maybe, like you say, because of deflection, maybe felt he had to push it round the post.
5 minutes into the second half, Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0. Madueke comes in field again from the right, finding Enzo Fernandez, who clips it wide to the far side, the Chelsea left, and Hall. Now Chalobah, and Enzo Fernandez takes over once again, and Chelsea here very steadily but surely are heading backwards. Now Fofana inside the centre circle. Enzo Fernandez with a good ball forward to release Gallagher. Down this near side, Frank Lampard stands, both arms outstretched on the edge of the technical area as Havertz comes in field, heads into traffic. Eriksen wins it back for United. Now there are 5 forward in this break. Eriksen carrying the ball deep into the Chelsea half, square towards Bruno Fernandes on the right, high to the far post. Rashford doing well to control it. Lovely, sumptuous first touch from him to bring the ball under control. Slip down the line for Wan-Bissaka, the right back, popping up on the left-hand side of midfield. And then it's clipped high across the penalty area, wide to the far side. Malacia filling in for Wan-Bissaka, and here is Casemiro on to Enzo Fernandez, and Malacia with a great ball into the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka cutting inside, firing the shot which is deflected away. Malacia squirts it out towards Rashford now inside the penalty area. Rashford on again to Malacia, driven across, it must be a third. Somehow it's scrambled away, and somehow Eriksen failed to score. Then Casemiro kills it in, and it's just wide.
I mean, how did that not go in? It was a great ball across from Malacia, and Eriksen actually, he gets ahead of the ball, so it then is behind him, and he just tries to scoop it with the toe of his left foot, and it dribbled towards the line. And fair play to Kepa, because he really did shuffle across his goal, didn't give it up, and palmed it away. And then when it came out to Casemiro, he just tried to caress it into that corner and was probably a foot wide. But how did Eriksen get ahead of the ball there?
Well, Kepa did really well in the end. We're just watching the replay now because Eriksen had such a good opportunity to score his first Premier League goal since November. There is a Chelsea player down. It's Aspilicueta again inside the penalty area receiving treatment. But United there could have scored about 4 separate occasions.
They could, I know, yeah. I know, but Eriksen, it didn't really take much of a deflection either for Eriksen. He just got in too early and then couldn't adjust his body.
Well, Aspilicueta is hobbling away towards this near side. And will Chelsea be forced into their first change here? It's incredible. They've one win in 18 games this season against sides in the top half of the table, Chelsea. That was against Newcastle. Against Aston Villa back in October. They've got Newcastle coming up on Sunday, and there is the real prospect they could have their lowest finish in the Premier League since 1994.
But you can see why, with performances such as this, to be as wasteful and as poor defensively, it's just that recipe to be a very, very average team.
Well, there's no doubt about that at times. A team which is worth far more on paper than it is out on the pitch at the moment, as Rashford has just gone down on the halfway line, clutching the small of his back. Play seemed to stop for a second, but Chelsea kept the ball in play, and eventually Stuart Atwell did stop play, but then restarted with a drop ball to Chelsea.
Yeah, just really didn't take a breath. Manchester United fans clearly don't want him to be injured, and just coming back as well. I think it was just a bit of a knee to the back, to be honest.
Well, Anthony, of course, going off in the first half. That looked to be a nasty injury. We'll get reaction live from the tunnel during the sports bar on TalkSport later on this evening. And we'll bring you news of Anthony, and I also asked Frank Lampard about what he was saying pre-match about Mason Mount and his belief that his future may well be away from Chelsea at the end of the season, as Mudryk comes forward again. He's a real box of tricks when he gets on the ball, and he was hacked down there by Wan-Bissaka, and Chelsea will have a free kick.
Yeah, he's so quick, isn't he? Rapido, Mudryk. Even too quick for Wan-Bissaka. He's so good at those sliding challenges, but Mudryk too quick.
Free kick for Chelsea. And looking ahead, Pochettino is the sort of coach we've seen previously, Dean, who could get the best out of players like Mudryk, because he does seem to be the sort of coach who can maybe put an arm round a player and make them feel good about themselves.
Here he goes again.
Here is Mudryk again now with a break into the penalty area. A low ball right through the 6-yard area beyond Havertz and MNUCHE. It's recovered by Azpilicueta, back towards Chukwuemeka, and now Gallagher again. Chukwuemeka taking over. Here is Enzo Fernandez. And Chelsea still looking to build here. Azpilicueta down the right-hand side, back towards Gallagher. Azpilicueta around the corner for Gallagher, hits the byline, delivers the cross in, and it's glanced away at the far post by Wan-Bissaka, and Sancho has the opportunity to clear, and it's a lovely reverse ball from him back towards Wan-Bissaka, and United now can break over the halfway line. Sancho in full flight momentarily, but Hall is able to keep up with it.
And that's what Manchester United actually want. They want to draw Chelsea onto them, and then when they break with real pace and numbers and open Chelsea up.
Over on TalkSport 2 in the Super League, Wigan lead Hull KR 14-10 at New Craven Park at the moment, as Rashford is challenged again on the edge of the penalty area by Chukwuemeka, and he stayed down, but Chelsea will play on here with MNUCHE. Sprawling challenge from Malacia though, and Malacia eventually brought MNUCHE down. Last season that was fine order against PSV in the Eredivisie, but it's a free kick for Chelsea here.
Marcus Rashford felt like he should have had one up the other end, and Ten Hag feels the same, but then Malacia just trying to challenge from the wrong side, and it's got to be perfect if you're going to do that, and it wasn't. He took out the player before the ball.
Good noise around Old Trafford with 57 minutes played. United leading here by 2-0. The free kick played short by Enzo Fernandez into the penalty area from Azpilicueta down the right, and it's guarded behind by Malacia for a corner.
Again, just weren't alive to the situation. Eriksson and Malacia having a little chat with each other. Whose man was that? Azpilicueta just running down the line, completely free.
Lewis Hall gets a great ovation from the Chelsea supporters in this near corner as he looks to take a corner kick here at the scoreboard end for Chelsea. Short again to Enzo Fernandez. Hall continues his run, and he's onside deep into the penalty area, fires in the shot, and it's beaten away at the near post. Mudryk with the return, it took a deflection, and it's a save for the cameras from De Gea as he clutches on.
Oh, why not? The first save's a decent one because it comes through a ruck of bodies at real pace, and he just manages to parry it out all the way to the edge of the box, and then Mudryk's strike, the sting is taken out of it by the deflection from the defender, and then De Gea was there ready. Maybe just a little glance to the camera to say, get this one for my reel.
And you're listening to Man United against Chelsea on TalkSport with Now Sports. And don't forget, with Now Sports. You can stream all the Sky Sports action like this game right now, live for $11.99 with no contract. Search Now Sports. Nearly 59 minutes played here, live from Old Trafford on TalkSport, live and exclusive to National Radio. It is Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0. So Manchester United are sealing a Champions League place here tonight and consigning Liverpool for sure to the Europa League next season on Sunday. The programme coming live from Goodison Park, a win for Everton against Bournemouth. They will be safe. Leicester against West Ham will be live on TalkSport. Leeds against Spurs will be on TalkSport 2 with 4 other games on the TalkSport app. And we also have all 3 playoff finals from the EFL live on the TalkSport network this weekend. Madueke now cuts it back for Chelsea, but the ball is cut out by Malacia. And now Rashford speeding away from Gallagher, deep into the Chelsea half. He's got Bruno Fernandes in space to his left. Bruno Fernandes into the penalty, cuts it back, but it's behind Rashford, and we've seen that happen on so many occasions from both sides, and Chelsea clear.
I don't really get it, if I'm honest. I don't get why Bruno Fernandes wouldn't take that on himself, just take it out of his feet and score.
Now Madueke for Chelsea, going down inside the penalty area, over the challenge of Casemiro. He appeals for handball, for a foul and a penalty, but nothing given, and United bring the ball clear. Frank Lampard is talking to Anthony Taylor, the 4th official. We'll wait and see what Michael Salisbury at Stockley Park thinks about that. The ball is still alive inside the Chelsea area until Kepa clears the ball away.
It's a shambolic game in terms of quality, honestly. Absolutely shambolic. But it's made for actually quite good entertainment in the end. It has.
It's not one for the purist, is it?
Who can be the worst? Who can be the worst tonight in terms of the wrong pass, the bad pass, the wrong choice? It's been ridiculous.
But from a neutral point of view, at least it's kept our attention. We've seen a lot of Chelsea Man United games be rather stalemates in recent years, and this hasn't been one of those. Now Chukwuemeka for Chelsea, wide towards Azpilicueta. Frank Lampard looking for Gallagher to make the run to the right, which he does, but the ball never finds him. And here is Chalobah once again. And the game just slows to walking pace for a moment as Fofana brings it forward. Then he plays it wide to Azpilicueta. Madueke makes the burst into the penalty area. The cross is beyond him. Havertz with the header, but it's one bounce into the arms of De Gea.
That's a decent ping ball from Azpilicueta. Flat delivery just over the top of Varane. Havertz was there. No conviction though in the header, was there? I think he was more worried about in case he got a tooth knocked out on the back of Varane's head. Sometimes you've just got to head through those, painful as they might be. That's where you're going to get the power to take it past David De Gea.
Just watching a replay of the Casemiro challenge on Madueke. Well, there was contact.
There was, but I thought that Madueke made the contact himself. He saw the legs was there and he put his own legs into the challenge.
A couple of changes imminent for Chelsea. Christian Pulisic and Joao Felix are the players who will be coming on. Azpilicueta on this near side, forced back by Malacia towards the halfway line. 62 minutes played. Don't forget, on Saturday, 4:45, Coventry against Luton, the playoff championship final, live and exclusive to National Radio on TalkSport. Adrian Durham, Sam Matterface, Dean and Ian Holloway will be our team inside Wembley as Sancho brings it forward now for United down the far side there right. Martial and Rashford wait in the centre, short towards Bruno Fernandes. Rashford peels away, demanding the ball, but here is Rashford on the right hand side of the penalty area, forced wide by the pace of the pass. Back again towards Wan-Bissaka. And on the break now, Chelsea look vulnerable every time United cross the halfway line.
Yeah, they do, don't they? I mean, they keep exposing the two centre-backs. Full-backs just cannot get back into position. Again, Manchester United, wrong decision, poor pass from Bruno Fernandes.
Rashford with the cross into the penalty area, looking for Martial, but it's cleared away by Fofana. And then Azpilicueta on this near side just hammers it straight out of play. Erik ten Hag appreciates the pressure on this near side from Malacia, and it will be a double change for Chelsea. Joao Felix coming on for Kai Havertz, who just bows his head and looks rather disappointed as he makes the short walk off. And Mykhailo Mudryk is the other player withdrawn, and it's Christian Pulisic who will come on for him. Havertz just kicks away at a water bottle, I think, as he heads towards the Chelsea bench. Mudryk making less of a reaction, let's say, as Pulisic comes on, and Felix, it seems, will play down the middle.
I mean, the only thing I would say is, can Havertz genuinely say, I don't deserve to be taken off? Because if he does think that, then he's completely deluded.
He's had chances, and I've seen one or two flicks from him, maybe one or two too many flicks at a time when Chelsea just needed to hold on to the ball. 64 minutes played here on Talk Sport. United 2, Chelsea 0. The Champions League places finally sorted out here at Old Trafford this evening. 14-all now over on Talk Sport 2 between Hull KR and Wigan in Super League, as Pulisic turns and plays it back towards Kepa, his goalkeeper, defending the Stretford end away to our left-hand side, and in the end Chelsea try and play out, and it was a awkward ball for Chelsea to control, and it was a back heel, I think, from Enzo Fernandez, which went straight out of play.
The fans here, they're not happy with Martial. He's just completely miscontrolled another opportunity. He's just...
one or two here are not having him.
No.
Now Enzo Fernandez with a lung-busting run forward for Chelsea, but in the end Casemiro does what he always does so well. The whole crowd rise to applaud him because he tracked the run, he kept pace with Enzo Fernandez, and he makes the challenge, and it was a nice moment there between the Brazilian and the Argentinian as the ball spins out of play, and I think there's a mutual appreciation there for the two players' abilities. Now Madueke for Chelsea on this near side, the right, infield towards Azpilicueta, who's forced back towards the corner flag by Lindelof, and Rashford again, and in the end the ball spins away off Rashford, and it will be a throw into Chelsea with 66 minutes played here on Talk Sport. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0 in the Premier League. João Felix for Chelsea on this near side, just knocks it against the outstretched boot of Lindelof, and it will be a corner kick for Chelsea.
It's incredible how deep Manchester United are defending against this Chelsea side, especially in the second half, maybe because of the threat that Chelsea had in the first half. They've become even deeper, and they're looking to break from such a deep position.
Corner from Hall, high to the far post, and it's Ababa leaping for Fana, and it curls straight out of play, and that will be a goal kick. We all know why Roman Abramovich left Chelsea, but they got 19 trophies in 19 years when he was the owner. How many years do you feel it could be before they win more silverware?
I mean, if you watch this performance, you think it'll be decades away. But like I said, these players can't be any worse than they are now. I think if you're a manager coming into Chelsea, I think you should be very excited with what's there. I think there's a lot to work with, there's a lot to improve. With young players, they need a coach. They need somebody that's going to mould them and teach them certain aspects of the game, and that's what they need.
If they lose here tonight, it will be 4 points in 10 games under Frank Lampard. Now Gallagher with another burst into the penalty area, and he goes down again under the challenge of Casemiro. João Felix tries to keep the move going, and in the end United will clear. Bruno Fernandes with a raking ball forward, encouraging Marcus Rashford to use his pace. Azpilicueta does really well to keep up with him and just maybe knock him off his stride and win the ball back for Chelsea inside the box.
Incredible his hamstrings withstood that, says Azpilicueta, because that was Rashford in full flow, and he just, every neck muscle was straining Azpilicueta. Fair play to him, stuck to it, made sure he won that ball.
Currently United 2, Chelsea 0 for the latest odds. Head to Ladbrokes right now. Can get United at 25-1 on, Chelsea at 33-1. The draw is 14-1, all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+, begambleaware.org. 68 minutes played here at Old Trafford. United leading by 2-0 and heading back to the Champions League, unless Chelsea score 3 times in the remaining 22 minutes or so. Bearing in mind, goals have been very difficult for them to come by in recent times. Lowest points tally, lowest goals, lowest league position since the mid-1990s. And money doesn't buy you everything, and clearly £600 million on 18 players doesn't buy you any sort of success if there's no real direction upstairs, and that's something Chelsea will need to address. Double change coming up. Fred and Antonio Garnacho will be coming on, and it's Anthony Martial who will be replaced by Alejandro Garnacho, and Christian Eriksen will be replaced by Fred.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty regular change. Eriksen coming off and a bit of fresh legs coming on. Fred. Garnacho will come out to this left. Marcus Rashford down the middle.
So Fred gets his customary 20 minutes coming off the bench for the 23rd time in the Premier League this season. Now Enzo Fernandez. Wide to the far side again as we tick into the final 20 minutes here. You can have your say on the sports bar this evening. 03717 223344, and we will bring you reaction to this game live from the tunnel here at Old Trafford following 10 o'clock. And I would imagine it'll be a satisfied Erik ten Hag and the usual downbeat Frank Lampard, just waiting for this interim spell to come to an end, and he will move on to other things. Madueke chasing a high ball into the penalty area, cleared by Malacia, briefly into the path of João Felix, but Casemiro is there to win it back, and here is Fred, wide towards Garnacho, and he's got space, time and confidence to bring the ball forward. Now Bruno Fernandes, oh, a lovely nutmeg on Fofana, he's challenged inside the penalty area, he goes down, and it's a Manchester United penalty.
It's a poor one from Fofana, because he thinks he's got back, and Bruno Fernandes so cleverly just teases the ball between Fofana's legs, and then in his panic to get back he then just tries to stab the ball away, and he catches Bruno Fernandes. It's so clever from the Portuguese midfield player. He's just about missed the ball, I think, Fofana. I think he's so close to this. It's so clever from Bruno Fernandes, and when he tries to get it he just clips his toe, and it's a definite penalty.
The first penalty Chelsea have conceded in the Premier League this season, and it's come in the penultimate game, and Bruno Fernandes will take it. Well, he won it. It was such a cute touch. He scored 4 of his previous 5 penalties, and 2 of the successful ones went low to the goalkeeper's left-hand side. The one he missed went low to the right and was beyond the post. And Bruno Fernandes, taking his usual short run at right-footed, gets it down the centre. And Manchester United are heading towards Europe's elite competition in some style now. Chelsea's awful season continues to unravel here at Old Trafford here tonight. Bruno Fernandes strokes in the penalty, and Frank Lampard looks set to bookend his time as Chelsea manager with heavy defeats at Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Chelsea 0.
He's been in a right old grump, hasn't he, Bruno Fernandes? All evening it's getting all a little bit heated, I don't know why.
Enzo Fernandez is having words with Bruno Fernandes, who is being pulled away from that, and now players from both sides are getting involved rather unnecessarily on the edge of the penalty area. Stuart Atwell, the referee, has just stepped away, and I think he's maybe taking some advice here from his officials on the far side, and that was all very unnecessary. I think Enzo Fernandez just a bit frustrated.
why are you now bothered? It's a bit late for all this, isn't it? You know, you're 3-0 down, you've had a pathetic run of fixtures. It's too late to be showing any discomfort with a celebration in a player scoring a goal. No need for it whatsoever. Why don't you show your real grit and determination in your performance rather than a reaction to the opposition? I just hate that.
Well, Bruno Fernandes was wheeling away, and Enzo Fernandez then quickly got involved with one or two United players. He's been shown a yellow card for that. And Stuart Atwell is coming across to this near side, and he's also showing a yellow card to Tyrell Malacia as well.
I mean, look, from our vantage point, it's so hard to see what really happened. I mean, it didn't seem a lot to me, really. I don't understand it. No real need for it.
Well, players back underway after all of that. Of course, Frank Lampard lost here 4-0 in his first game in charge of Chelsea back in August of 2019. And his penultimate game in charge as interim manager is currently 3-0, and we still have 15 minutes to play here.
Well, I was saying Bruno Fernandes has been a right old grump. Oh, they could be away again here.
Bruno Fernandes releasing Garnacho into the penalty area down the right-hand side. Cuts in field, he's just held up. Back to Fred with a curler, it's blocked by Fofana. And it spins away to the far side, and it's cleared downfield by Hall. Taken down very neatly by Joao Felix. And it's a good ball from him to release Gallagher, but it just spins away from him on the turf, and it's claimed by 𝓣𝓸𝓲𝓷𝓲𝓷𝓰.
Yeah, just going back to grumpy Bruno Fernandes. This whole game he's been annoyed, I think, with himself, with his teammates, with the chance that he missed. So even when he scored his penalty, he didn't really celebrate to start with. And in the end, he could just about give himself a smile.
Clipped on by Casemiro, and then an almost arrogant flick from Fernandes to find Garnacho. Fofana slides in to win it back, and Garnacho wins it back, and then he is penalised for the challenge on Fofana.
Yeah, Fofana just read what Garnacho was going to do, stepped across him, felt the shirt tug, and it's good defending actually from Fofana, much better than the way he defended for that penalty.
So the table as it stands, of course, we know that City have won the league and Arsenal have finished second. United 72 points, Newcastle on 70 points. They're at Chelsea on Sunday. United welcome Fulham here, and Liverpool on 66 points. It will be the Europa League for them. But for Chelsea, who knows what will happen on Sunday? Will their team suddenly show some sort of fight as Bruno Fernandes releases Rashford again? Chelsea here are so wide open, it's not true. Garnacho with a break into the penalty area. The clearance pinballs off Fred back towards Rashford, who tries a curler right-footed, and it's not too far wide of the far post.
Now you can see what he's trying to do, Rashford. We've seen him do that before, just cutting on his right-hand side and look to almost knuckleball that into the far corner, but again it's sloppy really. That ball from Fernandes was excellent. Rashford just needed to take a better touch and he was away, miscontrolled, and then had to recycle the ball.
You're listening to Manchester United against Chelsea on Talk Sport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. And now it's given away by Chelsea. Rashford now stepping in, he must score, he does score! Marcus Rashford makes it 4, and it's another defensive calamity from Chelsea. They were trying to play the ball out, but Fofana just gifted it to Bruno Fernandes inside the penalty area. Even Rashford needed 2 bites at the cherry to apply the finish, but he hits the big 3-0 tonight. United have 4, Chelsea are dreadful, and United are heading into the Champions League with a flourish.
They took a risk and it went horribly wrong. Fofana just looking to play that across to Chalobah, missed pass as he did against Manchester City. It was then taken upon by Bruno Fernandes. He was so unselfish. Fofana then goes back to try and challenge Rashford. Rashford just lets it run across his body. And then the initial shave from Kepa. Rashford just then rolls in the loose pass. And when you've got young players, heads can go down very quickly.
Chelsea fans are leaving in their droves here. 12 minutes to play. Their team are 4 goals down. Marcus Rashford, the first United player to score 30 goals for the club since Robin van Persie a decade ago. "17 of those have been in the Premier League. And it's 4-0 to Manchester United. And they've matched the scoreline that Frank Lampard suffered at his first Chelsea match in charge just under 4 years ago. Now Madueke looking to pick his way into the penalty area. It's out to Felix. Wide towards Pulisic. Pulisic fires it in low, but it's just beyond Gallagher, lunging in at the far post. It'll be kept in play by Azpilicueta. Now Enzo Fernandez. And it's a real badge of honour for those Chelsea fans still in the stadium here now, because this will really hurt them. They've been used to seeing their team at the top of the tree. They've been used to seeing their team challenge as a high ball into the penalty area, looking for Pulisic, and he seemed to jump into De Gea. And now Lindelof raises his arms into the body of Pulisic, and the two players square up almost on the goal line. De Gea was flat out on the turf for a moment, and Stuart Atwell quickly breaks it up. And whatever happened there, Victor Lindelof took grave exception to the actions of Christian Pulisic.
Well, because I think Lindelof felt that Pulisic went into the challenge with David De Gea in not really a fair manner, but I've got to say, he got up so well, Christian Pulisic, and he lands on David De Gea, and it's unfortunate. I think actually Lindelof then gets involved to protect his goalkeeper, when actually there wasn't a lot wrong with that from Pulisic.
He's trying to win the ball, and he got higher than De Gea. The ball actually hit him on the shoulder. Treble change now being made by Chelsea. Noni Madueke is coming off. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Hakim Ziyech are two of the players who are coming on. In the Rugby League, Hull KR have turned things around. They now lead Wigan 22-18. That game live over on TalkSport 2 at the moment. Gallagher and Chukwuemeka have also gone off, and Fofana, Loftus-Cheek and Ziyech have come on.
Yeah, I think Loftus-Cheek's obviously gone in alongside Fernandes, just to give a little bit, Enzo Fernandez that is, just to give a little bit more cover, I think, in the middle of the pitch, Manchester United, when they break. David Fofana's gone up front with João Felix playing as a 10.
The Chelsea fans giving the Super Frankie Lampard chant, and a number of the United fans around us are joining in, which must hurt. And David Fofana coming on as well, only his third appearance in signing from Molde. Lovely ball played forward now by Varane. Here is Garnacho cutting in field from the left again, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Square to Fernandes, scoop back towards the run of Garnacho, and the header is guarded back inside the penalty area, and further damage is avoided for now. Ziyech with the clearance. But 8 minutes to play here on TalkSport. 03717 223344, the number to call the sports bar. Manchester United leading by 4-0. Now David Fofana brings it down well, breaks into the penalty area all on his own, and in the end he runs into Lindelof, and it's claimed by De Gea.
Excellent defensive work from Lindelof. Didn't commit himself, just waited for that little shift of the ball from David Fofana, and that's when he went to pounce. Like a cobra, just waiting, and then as soon as that ball was loose, that foot went out to snap at the ball.
Well, this will be 1 win, 3 draws and 7 losses for Chelsea in the Premier League. In the calendar year, they've had 5 wins in 26, scoring 19 goals. For a club of their stature, that is woefully short. Now Lindelof once again. 7 minutes to play here until the agony is over for Chelsea tonight, but Newcastle can pile on more agony on Sunday. Don't forget, we're live from Goodison Park on Sunday with commentaries coming from the King Power Stadium, and Ellen Road has gone. Nacho strikes the shot and it takes a deflection and it comes back off the crossbar.
Oh, it was so electric from Rashford, just bursting in through the middle. Garnacho turn, it took a wicked deflection off 𝓳𝓸𝓷𝓷𝓷𝓷 and onto the crossbar. So lucky for Chelsea.
Now David Fofana back towards Ziyech again. He comes in field, hits a left-footed shot into the back of Casemiro. Loftus-Cheek, Ziyech, and a high ball wide to the far side. It's beyond Hall and it goes behind for a goal kick. And in the second half, we've got to say that Chelsea have been really, really poor. There were moments in the first half where they actually played quite well, but in the second half, apart from a flurry right at the start, there's been very little.
Oh, they've been an absolute shadow of their former selves, Chelsea. Not easy when you're young, a lot of young players out there, but still no real structure, no support really for that defensive line, and another really drab, lifeless display in the end.
Bruno Fernandes comes off. Scott McTominay comes on. His second appearance from the bench following 9 games out with injury. So big games coming up for Scotland as well in the international break at the end of the domestic season. But Chelsea's poorest season since the mid-1990s continues to limp to a conclusion here at Old Trafford tonight. Casemiro forward to Garnacho for United, and that fourth goal was an utter embarrassment.
It was symptomatic really of where they've got themselves to, Chelsea, where the levels aren't there. And Frank Lampard talked about it before the game, the basics, the things that are just important, the simple things that need to be absolutely right before the great things can happen.
Loftus-Cheek wide towards Ziyech. Garnacho will try and make the challenge, but Ziyech continues. Now Loftus-Cheek again. Ziyech coming in field, looking to open out the field. He goes back towards Fofana. Another flick from João Felix will find Pulisic. He plays it wide to Hall. Back towards João Felix again. Fofana now being used as the central striker. Hall finding Pulisic and João Felix. It's neatly done by Chelsea. Hall had the opportunity to deliver a cross, but instead chops back and finds João Felix. His drag around the corner is blocked, and then Ruben Loftus-Cheek loses out in possession, but Chelsea do have it back with just over 3 minutes to play here. 4-0 to Manchester United. This game has been as poor as many Chelsea fans will have feared from their point of view, as João Felix tries to dart into the area, and in the end it bobbles behind, and it will be a goal kick.
They've done what they've needed to do, haven't they, Manchester United? It's not been vintage. They were poor in the first half. Second half they've been a little bit better, but they've not been clinical enough. But as it seems this season, they keep these clean sheets when you think they probably don't deserve them. It's not a bad knack to have.
It'll be 12 clean sheets here this season, and 28 home games unbeaten since early September, which looks great on paper, and you can throw in a couple of Europa League results in that, but at the moment they will finish third in the Premier League, and considering the state they finished last season in, that's a measure of improvement.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and some positivity really going into the summer. If they can just get a few more players, obviously there's lots of players rumoured, but you add a few more players, and especially a striker. I mean, both these teams need a top striker.
Now Garnacho again down the right hand side, brings the ball down on his chest. He's got support from Fred. Fred tries to play it square. It's then scooped over the top by Casemiro. A high kicking Fred loses out and it's quickly played forward by Ziyech, and Chelsea can break here with João Felix. He's got 3 players in support as he breaks towards the edge of the penalty area, and he goes all the way, and João Felix scores an excellent individual goal for Chelsea. One defiant swipe at the end of a horrible evening, but João Felix showing his quality there in a flash, and Manchester United's lead has been cut to 4-1, but Chelsea and their fans at least have a moment to remember.
What a decent strike this is from João Felix. I mean, Manchester United just back away and back away. You can't keep doing that. There comes a point, and it's usually the edge of your area, where you've got to get out to the person with the ball. No real pressure. A player of his quality, and what he does is he makes sure he keeps it nice and low, get it zipping off the surface and away from David De Gea, right into the corner, and crisply into the back of the net. Lovely finish.
The Chelsea fans are chanting, "We've scored a goal," and they're still celebrating extravagantly. Here is Garnacho now at the far post, and the shot is turned over the top by Kepa. It's a really good save. It was a cross in from the right-hand side, and Garnacho on the angle, seeing his shot blocked by the legs of the goalkeeper.
Brilliant play from Manchester United. Sancho with a great ball across. Garnacho had already got past Azpilicueta, who tried to drag him back. He shrugged him off, then got into a great position. He does everything right. Tries to pass this into the far corner. That's a brilliant save from 𝓳𝓸𝓷𝓷𝓷𝓷 with his toe. Kepa, he just sticks it out and gets a flick on it.
We're into a minimum of 4 added minutes here. 03717 223344, the number to call the sports bar at the end of this game. We'll get live reaction from the tunnel here at Old Trafford as well. Now Wan-Bissaka wide to the far side from the corner kick, played short to Fred in a central area. Malacia wide to the left in Garnacho, but Fofana comes in with a good challenge and he brings it clear. Some of the Chelsea fans who are still here are still dancing following that goal from João Felix, but he's challenged on this near side, tries to squeeze it wide to Ziyech, believes he was fouled, but Stuart Atwell gives nothing.
Well, he was fouled. It's just Stuart Atwell played the advantage and then didn't bother bringing it back.
But Manchester United's hopes of a 7th successive clean sheet in the Premier League ended by João Felix. Casemiro has been awarded the player of the match. Some finish over on TalkSport 2. It's Hull 22, or Hull KR 22, Wigan 22 in Super League. As Rashford comes forward for Manchester United now, down the right, cutting infield into the penalty area. Low shot from him is gathered by Kepa at the second attempt.
Lovely footwork from Marcus Rashford, getting away from Fofana, and he looks sharp, doesn't he? That's what Manchester United fans and his manager will want to see, that sharpness in Marcus Rashford's play.
But they could have had 6 or 7 here tonight. Ziyech now for Chelsea, just stumbles as he heads into a phalanx of red shirts, and Fred comes away with the ball, and we have a couple of minutes of added time still to play here. Long ball downfield from Fofana, headed away by Lindelof. Enzo Fernandez will gather. Pulisic peels away to the left, but it's Fofana now inside the penalty area, but it took too long to maybe think about that, and Varane will bring the ball clear for United. But it's quickly won back by Pulisic, and the players who've come on for Chelsea have given them a bit more impetus. I mean, it's, again, we're coming from a fairly low point, but the changes have marginally made them less poor, let's say that.
I mean, the big thing is just the gap. When they get counter-attacked against, there's no midfield. It's literally just the back four that are left exposed.
We're going to win 5-4 is the chant from the Chelsea fans. Here is Sancho now, pulls it back to McTominay, and he jabs the shot at the near post, and it's gathered by Kepa. But Chelsea try to play the ball out, it's given away, and the shot from Rashford is returned back into the penalty area, and it's deflected wide for a corner.
They should have scored a few more, shouldn't they, really, Manchester United? Again, it's a good save from Kepa, he then bowls it out and they give it straight back.